At the very least, Zhu Xine at this moment was no longer afraid to the point that she had even been eager to try and fight again like what happened a while ago. Don't move too far away, or else it would be harder for me to protect you. Wei Xiaobei looked at Zhu Xine's appearance and roughly knew her thoughts. In reality, humans had always kept their bloodthirst in their hearts. Due to the restrictions of human society, they had suppressed this thirst so that they could stay humans and not be beasts. Naturally, this did not mean that Zhu Xine had become a beast, but rather, the changes in her heart would make her stronger than the majority of men. While watching Zhu Xine's back as she moved towards a green dwarf, Wei Xiaobei knew that Zhu Xine could be considered an experienced soldier and not a weak, naive girl. Wei Xiaobei lightly sighed as he did not know if this change was for the better or for the worse. In reality, a majority of the green dwarfs had already escaped and only a few of them were still fighting. The habits of the green dwarfs were strange. They had just experienced a bloodbath, but now, after spreading out a little, they had quickly returned back to normal, picking up random bits of grass, mushroom, rhizomes, fruits, and other type of food. However, this did not mean they were harmless. When a green dwarf that had been digging the ground with a rusted knife, heard Zhu Xine's approaching footsteps, it raised its head, and when it saw a human girl approaching, raised its knife and pounced forward. This might be due to the green dwarfs having a short memory, or because they thought that human women were weak. Wei Xiaobei did not continue paying attention anymore, since there were only a few green dwarfs left there. Additionally, the smell of blood coming from the piles of corpses of green dwarfs made majority of the green dwarfs unconsciously avoid the place. As long as Zhu Xine did not go stupid, there should be no problem. After all, humans were stronger than the green dwarfs. Moreover, Zhu Xine with a machete was not to be trifled with. Wei Xiaobei placed only a bit of attention on Zhu Xine. He sat down on the grass and then lied down, feeling certain comfort after fighting such a huge battle. He took a look at his status panel. 2,145 evolution points. Wei Xiaobei remembered the 1,600 points he had earned last time, and then looked at the evolution points that had now exceeded 2,000 points. With this many evolution points, Wei Xiaobei naturally did not let them grow mold in his status panel. It was just that previously, he did not have the chance to allocate them due to the ferocity of the previous battle. Now that the battle ended and Zhu Xine was patrolling and killing green dwarfs, it was much more safer now. At the very least, it was much more safer than running back to the food street. After all, Wei Xiaobei could not judge if the mist draconic horse was still there or not. Wei Xiaobei unhesitantly placed his evolution points into sturdiness. Wei Xiaobei knew that increasing his sturdiness would cause changes to his body. These changes would without a doubt amaze those who knew him well. However, Wei Xiaobei would not just disregard sturdiness because of this. Every attribute in the status panel had their uses. The purpose of sturdiness was to carry the burden the muscle attribute gave him, and it had even increased his strength. This was like an elephant fighting an ape. The ape was admittedly stronger than an elephant, but in a true confrontation, the elephant could rely on its weight to crush an ape. The higher his sturdiness, the more robust his body would become. This would allow him to resist stronger attacks whether it was from himself or from his enemy. 14.96, 14.97, 14.98, 14.99, 15. What Wei Xiaobei never imagined was that when he increased his sturdiness to 15 points, a large surge of something warm flowed throughout his body. He felt as if lava was spreading all over his body, and then he felt pain as if his body was being torn apart. Most of his muscles and bones instantly split apart and then recombined. This repeated continuously as his body was seen to be slowly pulled longer. From the very beginning, Wei Xiaobei felt the endless passage of time. The surging pain rushed to his brain over and over again, preventing him from fainting. The pain was much more violent and fierce than that time at Chuehu University. Wei Xiaobei even believed that if he did not divert his attention from the pain, he would eventually go crazy at the end of it. Breathing technique. Wei Xiaobei began to practice some breathing techniques. The greatest advantage of breathing techniques was that it can be done in any posture. It could even be trained while sleeping. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei had not tried it when sleeping before, since his had not yet reached that level of expertise. When he began his breathing techniques, the pain coming from all over his body seemed to have been separated by a layer of film. He could still faintly feel the pain, but it was a lot lesser than what he had just experienced. While training, his mind calmed down, and he even began training his qi. Wei Xiaobei would usually train his qi with a standing static stance. In reality, the static stance of Guoshu relies on a fixed posture to strengthen the qi and recuperate the body. Wei Xiaobei's attempt of training qi while lying down was a first in Bejiquan. However, doing this kind of attempt would always end tragically. This was also something that could not be helped. All the static stances in Guoshu had been finely tuned by countless Guoshu experts and masters, resulting in the greatest efficiency that was visible today. There was no need even comparing one person's senses to a group of people's. However, Wei Xiaobei had a hidden trump card in his hands. Since his entire body was splitting apart and recombining, any setbacks in training qi would not be much. Moreover, with his vitality, even if something bad truly happened, his recovery speed would still be a lot faster than normal people. His consciousness sunk as he looked at his dantian. As he did this, the influence from the pain of his body splitting apart and recombing had disappeared, making him relax. In reality, the dantian's location was within the range of where Wei Xiaobei's parts had been splitting and recombining, but Wei Xiaobei was amazed the dantian appeared to be in a separate state, as if it was in a separate space. As the body continued to split and recombine, more uncontrollable qi was created. As long as his inner sight was not interrupted, there should be no problem in gathering qi and opening his meridians. The amount of qi created by his body was more than 10 times the normal amount. It was like a tide as it surged into his dantian. Wei Xiaobei easily controlled his qi and sent it flowing through his meridians. In less than half a second, it entered his yin jiao acupuncture point. Wei Xiaobei was amazed at this. Normally, moving the qi into the meridian was not be as stable and he would normally lose 30% of it. However, this time, the qi that flowed into the yin jiao acupuncture point seemed to not have decreased at all. On the contrary, it even absorbed more uncontrollable qi inside the acupuncture point, becoming bigger. Before the qi entered the acupuncture point, it was already big. After it left, it had absorbed the qi inside and increased in size. As a result of this, when the qi reached the Ju-Ju acupuncture points, it had already reached twice its size compared to when it was in the dantian. However, even though the qi was this big, Wei Xiaobei did not feel any swelling in his blood channels, meridians, and acupuncture points at all. On the contrary, he even felt comfortable. Wei Xiaobei did not waste any more time since there were no anomalies and urged his qi forward. After the qi left the Ju-Ju acupuncture point, the blood channel was still blocked. However, with his experience and the size of the qi, the pain had decreased by a lot. The blood channel was different from before. It felt more like a quagmire instead of a steel blockade. The speed his qi moved was a lot faster than before. Moreover, the consumption of the qi was about 50% less compared to before. What surprised Wei Xiaobei the most was that when the qi moved to the Ju Wei acupuncture point, the qi had knocked against the impurities and immediately scattered them into nothing. Isn't this too easy? Wei Xiaobei was puzzled. After all, he previously needed 3 strikes before he was able to get rid of the impurities. The further meridians should have required more than that. However, he was now able to do things so easily, and the pain was even less than before. Naturally, the pain might have been suppressed by the pain from his body splitting up. When the qi entered the Jiu Wei acupuncture point and absorbed more qi, it had fully replenished and grown a bit more bigger. Wei Xiaobei suspected that these changes should have something to do with his sturdiness at 15 points. However, he did not dare become distracted right now. He took advantage of this heaven-granted opportunity to continue opening his meridians. Zhongting Acupuncture Point. Open. Shanzhong Acupuncture Point. Open. Yutang Acupuncture Point. Open. He continued opening more meridians and reached the Changjiang Acupuncture Point. This acupuncture point was located at the sunken cavity below the lips. It is also the final acupuncture point. After this, the qi would have nowhere to go anymore. However, these 8 meridians were originally linked to the 12 blood channels. Wei Xiaobei naturally understood what this meant. In the Changjiang acupuncture point, there were many fine blood channels that were connected to various acupuncture points. As qi continued to flow through the tiny blood channels, it reached the Ditsang acupuncture point. The blood channel for the Ditsang acupuncture point was originally narrow, but when the qi flowed through it, it was as if the blood channel tore apart. The pain was currently nothing for Wei Xiaobei. The blood channel underwent a strong tension caused by his body's splitting and recombining. After a bit of pain, the blood channel opened up as qi entered his Ditsang acupuncture point. In reality, every acupuncture point had impurities in them. They were only cleared when Wei Xiaobei had previously circulated his uncontrollable qi. The uncontrollable qi appeared to be the same as the qi that he could control, but they were actually worlds apart. Uncontrollable qi was thin and capable of entering blood channels, acupuncture points, organs, etc. It could even push out the impurities. Real qi was different. It could only circulate within the blood channels and was unable to separate from them. However, its density and effects were 10 times more powerful compared to uncontrollable qi. If uncontrollable qi was like a feather in midair, then real qi was like a thick fog. Naturally, compared to opening his 8 meridians, opening the blood channel toward the Ditsang acupuncture point was a lot easier. When the qi reached the Ditsang acupuncture point, it moved downward and expanded the various blood channels along the way. As the qi flowed through various blood channels and acupuncture points, it reached the Qi Chong acupuncture point. After that, he circulated it toward the Hui Yin acupuncture point. The Hui Yin, perineum, acupuncture point was one of the most important acupuncture points in the body. Countless online users even praised it and made poems about it. For example, there was a famous saying in a poem, "The superior man is satisfied and composed, the wicked man is always full of distress." A Chinese expression was also given for it, "The chicken has flown out of the coop, and the eggs are broken." There was also a famous martial arts move for it, "Immortal plucking peaches," etc. In short, this acupuncture point was important. As qi entered the Hui Yin acupuncture point, Wei Xiaobei felt something strange. He felt that the pain coming from his body had dispersed this strange feeling into pieces. In reality, Wei Xiaobei did not realize that entering this acupuncture point when the body was in a normal condition would give an erection for more than half an hour. If he truly had an erection at the moment, he would lose all face in front of Zhu Xine. After the qi moved out of the Hui Yin acupuncture point, it moved upwards, then passed through more blood channels, and finally returned back to his dantian. Until now, the effects of finally opening his blood channels and circulating his qi during this short time was the same as urging qi to move through the blood channels for a week. When the qi returned back to his dantian, Wei Xiaobei immediately felt that the pain coming from his body had decreased by more than 30%. The uncontrollable qi inside his body once again became vigorous. Wei Xiaobei continuously circulated his qi a few more times until the pain in his body completely dissipated. This was not the effect of circulating his qi, but rather it was because his body had finished splitting and recombining. Wei Xiaobei quickly opened his eyes and looked at his surroundings. When his body was splitting and recombining, Wei Xiaobei was cut off from the outer world. As a result, he would not know if anything happened even if the apocalypse started. Now that he had taken a good look around, he deemed that it was safe everywhere. The only issue was that Zhu Xine had ran farther than before, and a green dwarf stood beside her. This was the strangest part. The green dwarf was actually following behind Zhu Xine without attacking her at all. On the contrary, whenever Zhu Xine would point at another green dwarf, it would raise its kitchen knife and attack the other green dwarf without caring about its fellow brethren at all. Disregarding how powerful the green dwarf was, as long as it attracted the attention of the opposing green dwarf, Zhu Xine would be able to kill the opposing green dwarf easier. "Girl, come here." Wei Xiaobei walked slowly toward them. A cold wind blew over, causing him to tremble. His clothes were already drenched in sweat, and his recently reconstructed body was very weak, resulting in him being unable to endure the wind when it blew past him. "Brother Wei! Brother Wei! Take a look, this is my captured monster. I named him Xiao Chou." Seeing Wei Xiaobei stand up, Zhu Xine excitedly ran over. The green dwarf also eagerly followed behind. Even if it saw Wei Xiaobei, the green dwarf was not afraid at all. It raised its kitchen knife and looked at Wei Xiaobei as if he was prey. Seeing this, Zhu Xine patted the green dwarf's head and spoke in a tone of a kindergarten teacher, "Xiao Chou, this is Brother Wei. You must be polite." A green dwarf had intelligence that was not that high. However, it seemed to be able to understand simple human words. After being informed by Zhu Xine, the vigor in the green dwarf's body disappeared as it obediently stood beside Zhu Xine. It did not even look at Wei Xiaobei and played with the knife in its hand, just like a kindergartner who could not accept the teacher's words. Wei Xiaobei did not care if the green dwarf was polite to him or not. What he was interested in was Zhu Xine's condition. "What's this all about?" Wei Xiaobei pointed at the green dwarf and doubtfully asked. Seeing Wei Xiaobei inquire about the green dwarf, Zhu Xine had a proud expression on her face. "Brother Wei, you did not know. When I thought I was about to be killed by this monster, I screamed. In the end, this monster seemed to obey me." Wei Xiaobei pondered for a bit and continued asking, "Do you feel anything strange about your body? For example, have you gotten stronger or can you run faster?" "About this, I don't think so." Zhu Xine wrinkled her brows and pouted. Two small dimples appeared on her face as she thought for a bit before answering. "No changes." Wei Xiaobei was slightly puzzled. Zhu Xine should have already killed around 17 to 18 green dwarfs, including the new corpses of green dwarfs around the place. If it was converted to evolution points, it should be more than 150 points. This should have been enough to cause changes to her status. "Ah, right. I felt that my skin had become glossier. Does that count?" Zhu Xine suddenly muttered. Wei Xiaobei's ears were sharp. Let alone her muttering, he would even be able to hear a mutter from 50 meters away. Skin became glossier. Hearing this, Wei Xiaobei acted without thinking. He reached out and clasped Zhu Xine's hand. Sure enough, it was a bit glossier and whiter. "Let me see your face." When Wei Xiaobei had caught her hand, Zhu Xine bashfully lowered her head. On the contrary, when the green dwarf witnessed this scene, it thought that Wei Xiaobei was about to attack its master. It raised its kitchen knife and cut toward Wei Xiaobei's knee. Wei Xiaobei slightly raised his right leg and kicked the green dwarf away. That said, Wei Xiaobei felt that the green dwarf subdued by Zhu Xine was stronger than normal green dwarfs. Its demeanor was also tougher, which could have been attributed to it killing a few of its brethren. Seeing the green dwarf raise its knife at Wei Xiaobei, Zhu Xine was startled as she tried to quickly block it, but she was too late as Wei Xiaobei had already kicked it away. In this moment, Wei Xiaobei was able to clearly see Zhu Xine's face. "It's just as I suspected." Not only did Zhu Xine's skin become glossier, her face also became prettier. Most of the evolution points she gained from killing the green dwarfs had been placed into her charm attribute. There is no doubt about it. After all, the dust world was not a beauty salon. It was impossible for Zhu Xine to become this beautiful without a good cause. Since there were no other changes to her body, then this was the only answer. After withdrawing his hand, Wei Xiaobei became aware that what he had done was slightly overboard. Although the custom of men and women should not touch hands when they give or receive things had become obsolete, it was still inappropriate to touch other people's hands and faces for no reason, especially after maturity. Moreover, their relationship was only at most friends. After giving out a hollow laugh, Wei Xiaobei took out the remaining hardtacks and 2 packs of water bags. He placed them on the ground and made a gesture. Wei Xiaobei then picked up the hardtack and water as he began eating. After the previous large fight and his body reconstruction, he felt that his body was incredibly weakened, and it was time to replenish himself. At this time, Zhu Xine also felt hungry. She picked up a hardtack and took a small bite, which caused her to become more famished. As a result, her reservations had disappeared as she quickly nibbled on the hardtack and drank big gulps of water. Who knew if Zhu Xine's green dwarf was the most intelligent among the green dwarfs, but it at the very least was not an idiot. Seeing its master begin to eat and drink with the man, it looked from side to side. Discerning that its master and the man did not pay attention to it, it carefully tiptoed up to them and grabbed a pack of hardtack as it stuffed the hardtack into its mouth. The green dwarf did not notice that there was a layer of plastic around the hardtack. When it bit down once, not only did it not bite onto a piece of hardtack, but also 2 of its teeth had fallen out. Seeing its pained expression, Zhu Xine smiled but immediately, shyly looked back at Wei Xiaobei. Zhu Xine roughly knew from looking at the situation in the dust world that food and water was very difficult to find. Moreover, Xiao Chou had already taken a pack of hardtack and stuffed it into its mouth. She was afraid that her brother Wei would be unhappy. If it was like before, Wei Xiaobei would not be happy about depleting his food sources, but now that he already found a way back to the apartment building, he could easily replenish his food and water. For this reason, he did not care about a single pack of hardtack. What he cared about right now was Zhu Xine's worth. If an ability or a skill was the reason why Zhu Xine was able to subdue a green dwarf, then her worth would increase a lot. Ignoring the citizen of Longbow for now, if she could just subdue a mist draconic horse or a big tree spirit, then there was no problem for her in preserving her life. In reality, Wei Xiaobei did not even dare to fight with these 2 monsters at the moment. That was why Zhu Xine's value was high. Let it eat. Wei Xiaobei smiled and lied down on the grass. Seeing that Wei Xiaobei did not get mad, Zhu Xine sighed in relief as she quickly grabbed the hardtack from the green dwarf's mouth. Then she lectured it while helping it open the hardtack. However, Zhu Xine would cast glances at Wei Xiaobei's body from time to time. She felt baffled at how his body seemed to have become slightly more robust, and his height seemed to have increased a bit. However, she did not dare ask about it and only kept this puzzlement in her heart. When facing Wei Xiaobei, the green dwarf did not show any fear, but when it was being lectured by Zhu Xine, it would become well behaved as if it was a kindergartner that had been caught pilfering food. Wei Xiaobei looked at his status panel as he lied down on the grass. He did not forget that his body had become more robust after increasing his sturdiness to 15 points. He knew that his body size and height increased, but this was not enough. However, when he examined his sturdiness attribute, he could not help but frown. His sturdiness attribute had become red. This meant that there was no way for him to increase it further to 20 points. When he inspected the reddened sturdiness attribute, he had a rough understanding. Every time his sturdiness increased by a certain critical point, his body would begin large-scale strengthening. In order to maintain his safety, he could not increase it anymore for a duration of time. Wei Xiaobei was disappointed by this because he wanted to know that kind of ability he would obtain once his sturdiness increased to 20 points. He had looked forward to it. Now that he could not increase his sturdiness, he could not help but look at his other attributes instead. Wei Xiaobei's eyes hovered over willpower and judgment as he hesitated between which one to pick. In terms of importance, his willpower was more important than his judgment. He knew that the dust world had many unknown creatures inside of it, and some could even disturb the heart. For example, the fiendish man-fish or the thousand-eyed devil were some of these types of creatures. If his willpower was too low, it would be easy for the opponent to overwhelm him, decreasing his battle power and killing him. Judgment, on the other hand, allowed him to understand everything around him. The higher this ability was, the easier it was to have a deeper understanding of things. In simpler terms, it was easier to recognize things in front of him. This attribute was not that useful. At least from his point of view, it was on the same level as the sub-attribute under charm. However, Wei Xiaobei had a slight intuition that he must increase his judgment attribute, and it would be better than willpower. Should I put it in judgment? Or willpower? Wei Xiaobei hesitated and finally decided to trust his intuition. His intuition was at 20 points and saved him a few times already. This was a special property of intuition, to strike at the heart of the problem and solve it. Since he still had 1,640 evolution points left, there should be no problem if he increased his judgment, so he decided to gamble on it. Wei Xiaobei did not hesitate as he placed evolution points into his judgment attribute. 11.01, 11.02, 11.03. Following the continuous increase in judgment, Wei Xiaobei faintly felt that the things he perceived in his vision of the outside world had changed. For example, when he stepped on the grass, he was somehow able to tell that he had decreased its vitality by 20%. It would stay withered for 2 more days before regaining its vitality on the 3rd day. However, in this process, other roots around it would absorb the nutrients in the soil and decrease its height by around 10%. When he looked at the green dwarf sitting beside Zhu Xine, he was able to tell that its muscle mass was more than twice that of normal green dwarfs. He was then able to calculate that it had killed more than 20 of its brethren. If it was like before, Wei Xiaobei would not carefully inspect these types of things. Now that he looked at them carefully, he was able to tell what was different. Naturally, the numbers that appeared from this analysis were vague, but it was a lot more detailed than his previous observation. As his judgment increased to 20 points, a new ability appeared in his status panel. Judgment, 20, Status Appraisal. Status Appraisal, able to inspect a creature's status. This ability's effectiveness is related to one's intelligence and awareness. Creatures inspected by this ability may sense that they are being looked at. Wei Xiaobei's eyebrows raised up. This ability is not bad at all. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei used this ability on Zhu Xine. Zhu Xine, who was playing with Xiao Chou, immediately sensed something gazing at her. When she looked up, she saw Wei Xiaobei looking at her with slightly glowing blue eyes. This made her somewhat restless. "Brother Wei, are you all right?" Zhu Xine suspiciously asked. "I'm fine. I'm fine." Wei Xiaobei awkwardly moved his gaze away and looked at a piece of grass as if the grass was the most exotic, most magnificent, and most beautiful grass in the entire field. In reality, Wei Xiaobei's attention was on his mind. Name, Zhu Xine. Race, human. Gender, female. Age, 18. Creature rank, 1 star. Status, the average adult female status value is 8. Strength, 5.5, muscle, 6, sturdiness, 5. Agility, 5.5, hand-eye coordination, 5, flexibility, 6, reflex, 6, balance, 5. Vitality, 5, health, 4, endurance, 6. Intelligence, 10, learning, 12, reasoning, 8. Awareness, 9.5, willpower, 9, judgment, 8, perception, 8, intuition, 13. Charm, 11.2, courage, 12, persuasiveness, 9, character, 13, leadership, 9, appearance, 13. Special skills. Charm control. This skill allows the user to control creatures with similar and lower creature rank than the user through means of massacre, threats, kindness, etc. The success rate of this skill is related to the user's charm and intelligence attributes. This ability is an innate ability of the user. For every 1-star increase in the user's rank, this ability would upgrade. This ability can also be obtained when charm and intelligence attributes reach 20 points. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. Items on hand, none. Wei Xiaobei already knew Zhu Xinyi's status, but when he examined it again, he wanted to swear at the heavens. Although Zhu Xinyi's status was considerably less than Wei Xiaobei's status when he just entered the dust world, she was just a girl. There was even an indication in her status panel. The average adult female status value is 8. Her first 3 attributes, strength, 5.5, agility, 5.5, vitality, 5, were a lot weaker compared to Wei Xiaobei's first 3 attributes. However, her last 3 attributes were heaven-defying. Intelligence, 11, awareness, 9.5, charm, 11.2. This had completely turned Wei Xiaobei's worldview upside down. Moreover, Zhu Xinyi's intuition, character, and appearance were all at 13 points. Compared to Wei Xiaobei, his character and appearance were only at 7.99 points. This made him want to dig a hole and bury himself in it. Finally, the most unfair thing was the innate ability that she had gained when she had just entered the dust world, charm control. It could allow her to control creatures of the same rank and below it. It was no wonder that the green dwarf was obeying her words. Wei Xiaobei finally came to an understanding. This was why the thought of comparing himself to her made him furious. If Zhu Xinyi could control more green dwarfs, or even fishmen guards, mutated white mice, or other creatures of the same rank, she could become unparalleled. Moreover, this ability would increase based on her creature rank. In other words, even if he increased his intelligence and charm to 20 points to obtain this ability, it would be a lot weaker than Zhu Xinyi's ability. It must be known that increasing the charm and intelligence attribute to 20 points would allow any being to become a 2-star elite creature. If it was Zhu Xinyi, then her charm control ability would already have increased by a level, while Wei Xiaobei would have just gained the ability at its initial state. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei would not regret not placing his evolution points into intelligence and charm. If he did this in the beginning, he would probably have perished to a point of not even being left with bones. Choosing the right attributes was the only way to survive in the dust world. For example, if he did not save Zhu Xinyi, then she might have died from the zombie's mouth or the licker's tongue. As for Zhu Xinyi's evolution points, it was something worth investigating. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. She had obtained an innate skill in exchange for not being able to accumulate evolution points. Any evolution points that she accumulated would be placed into random attributes in her status. Wei Xiaobei was puzzled. When he entered the dust world, he did not obtain any innate skill, but it could be that his innate skill might be the status panel that appeared in his mind. From this, Wei Xiaobei felt that he did not suffer that much of a loss. The mysterious status panel would allow him to obtain evolution points based on the monsters he killed. Then he could place the points into the attributes that he needed. Moreover, the advantages of being able to do this might be a lot better than how Zhu Xinyi and Huang Kuan would be automatically allocated points. Thanks to this, he allocated points into where he needed them and quickly become stronger. However, he was still more or less envious of Zhu Xinyi's innate skill. If he had this skill, he would never even think of subduing monsters like the green dwarfs. Charming zombie dogs and giant black scorpions were a lot better than green dwarfs. After deluding himself for a bit, he placed this thought at the back of his mind and once again checked his status panel. He still had 740 evolution points remaining. This was enough to increase his willpower to 20 points, or increase his release electricity voltage to 1000 volts. These two were important, so it was hard to choose between them. Increasing his willpower would not only allow his will to strengthen but would also give him a new ability related to willpower. On the other hand, if he increased his voltage output, his intuition told him that other than the incredible short range, he would be able to obtain a few more benefits. Because of this, Wei Xiaobei was stumped on how to choose. In the end, he decided to rely on vague luck. He grabbed a bundle of grass from the ground. If the amount of grass he obtained was an odd number, then he would put it in willpower, otherwise he would put it in electrical voltage. Wei Xiaobei quickly counted 22 pieces of grass. Even number. After confirming this, he focused on his status panel and placed evolution points into release electricity. In an instant, his electric voltage increased from 723 to 1000 volts. Special skill, release electricity, maximum strength 1000 volts, requires 3 evolution points to increase 1 volt. Maximum current 62 mA, requires 2 evolution points to increase 1 mA. Allows the user to alter the voltage and current proportion through the electrical work skill. After his release electricity's voltage increased to 1000, new information appeared. When he had reached 1000 volts, the requirements to increase it had turned to 3 evolution points for 1 volt. What is this? Allows the user to alter the voltage and current proportion through the electrical work skill. Could it be an ability similar to Transformers? Not the robot one. Wei Xiaobei always had a headache because of this release electricity skill of his. The skill was very strong, but he could never control the voltage and current at all. Every time he released electricity, excluding electrical resistance, he would always release it at its maximum capacity. Without a doubt, this gave Wei Xiaobei a lot of restrictions in using the skill. For example, he did not dare release electricity in the recent battle, because Zhu Xine was on his shoulder. Once he released electricity, the girl might just directly die. Wei Xiaobei's brows wrinkled a bit as his right hand approached a stalk of grass. Crackle. Following the sound of electric current flowing, an electrical arc appeared between his finger and the grass. In an instant, the grass turned yellow then black. In the end, it burned up and the electrical arc disappeared. Wei Xiaobei nodded his head and entered into deep thought. In a slightly humid place like the grassfield, creating an electrical arc that was 2 centimeters long with a grass. He felt that there was definitely a discrepancy between the physics of the dust world and reality. However, he was currently not able to explore this further. After thinking a bit more, he threw the thought to the back of his mind, and once again focused on his status panel. Wei Xiaobei did not ignore the new changes to his special ability. It was impossible for the remaining 463 evolution points to make his willpower into 20 points. His new option was to place it into his electrical work skill to see if it would bring him a few benefits. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei did not hesitate anymore and decided to put them into his electrical work skill. In reality, Wei Xiaobei's electrical work skill was considered to be at the base level. Anyone who read an electrical textbook once and applied it a bit would be able to reach this level. Did this mean that Wei Xiaobei's mind was innately dumber than other people? Regardless, after placing 50 evolution points, his electrical work changed from beginner to intermediate. No other changes appeared. The only thing that changed was that he seemed to have gained more information and knowledge. Wei Xiaobei was not able to touch upon this experience and knowledge at all. Continue increasing it. 100 evolution points. Electrical work, advanced. Still no changes. 200 evolution points. Electrical work, master. There are still no changes. When he looked at his evolution points, only 113 points remained. Wei Xiaobei was puzzled. Could it be that changes would only happen once I upgrade electrical work to perfection? But, 113 evolution points is not enough to do it. After thinking a bit more, Wei Xiaobei placed 110 evolution points into learning, increasing it to 11.1 points. Wei Xiaobei intuitively felt that increasing learning would help his electrical work skill. Wei Xiaobei's evolution points had been used up and only 3 points remained. Are you full? Wei Xiaobei looked at Zhu Xine and Zhu Xine immediately stood up. She blushed and said, I'm full. This was the first time Zhu Xine ate something like a hardtack. Although she was very hungry, women innately had small appetites. After single hardtack and a bit of water, she was already full. Okay. Bring Xiao Chou to train with you a bit. I will take a look at the other side. Wei Xiaobei looked around the surroundings and noticed that the green dwarfs had already relaxed. Some of them slept on the grass, some were gathering food, some were shamelessly doing their business on the grass field. In short, there should be no problem for Zhu Xine as she had the machete and the green dwarf, Xiao Chou. Okay. Zhu Xine was now treating Wei Xiaobei's words as an imperial edict. As long as Wei Xiaobei said it, she would not think about it and do what was told. This was not because of affection forming, but because of the initial elementary intimidation she experienced. This had created a bit of reverence in her heart toward Wei Xiaobei. As a result, she ignored her safety, picked up a stick, and tried to kill the zombies. In reality, the amount of people that would have this feeling of reverence were extremely few. The majority of people would only feel fear and fright. Afterwards, because she had experienced a series of events where Wei Xiaobei saved her, the feeling of reverence became even deeper. However, Wei Xiaobei never understood this. Seeing Zhu Xine move in the other direction with Xiao Chou, he reminded her, "Girl, remember this. Don't approach the large hole. Stay 200 meters away from it." Understood. Zhu Xine nodded her head and then turned her eyes towards a green dwarf that was lying down on the grass. She instructed the green dwarf, Xiao Chou, and moved to surround it. Wei Xiaobei nodded his head as he saw the scene. Real battles are truly the best teachers. Although Zhu Xine's strength, agility, and vitality were low, she had followed Wei Xiaobei and was now about the same as Huang Quan's level. This was probably because of her high intelligence. Seeing that there was no danger in the grass field, Wei Xiaobei did not stay there anymore and ran towards the food street. He did not plan to bring Zhu Xine for an adventure back to the apartment building. Although she could control the green dwarfs, she was still too weak. If she followed him, it would just be courting death. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei was not willing to bring a burden back with him. These words might sound unpleasant, but this was the reality of the situation. Wei Xiaobei had perceived that the grass field that was originally the size of the forest had now expanded more than 10 times its original size. In short, the distance Wei Xiaobei had traveled from the food street to Chuihu University was around 1,000 meters. The place where the citizen of Longbo stepped on the big tree spirit was in the middle of these two places. In other words, there was a distance of 500 meters from the hole to the food street. Now, Wei Xiaobei was already 300 meters away from the hole. After continuously running for another kilometer, he still had not seen the food street. Could I have gone the wrong direction? Impossible. Wei Xiaobei intuitively understood that he was going the correct direction. As the grass field expanded, the amount of green dwarfs increased. In the range of the original forest, the amount of green dwarfs had reached roughly 200. However, on his way to the food street, he had encountered more than 100 green dwarfs already. Wei Xiaobei did not stop to fight these green dwarfs. The only thing he did was kick them away when they were on his path. The lucky green dwarfs would still be able to move after landing on the grass. The unluckier ones instantly died. After 20 minutes of running, Wei Xiaobei finally saw the entrance of the food street. Wei Xiaobei calculated that he had already ran for 20 minutes and had almost reached 10 kilometers. In other words, distance had increased by more than 10 times. This means that the distance between the hole and Chuihu University had also increased. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei sighed. No matter how hard he worked, he still could not see through the dust world at all. The land had actually altered and expanded in just a month's time. It was hard to imagine what other changes could actually happen. Wei Xiaobei had already made his plans. After returning to the apartment building, he would take away all the water and food. If there were changes to the apartment building the next time he entered, he would suffer a major loss for no reason. Food and water was not easy to find in tea dust world. Seeing the food street in the distance, Wei Xiaobei suddenly increased his speed and ran like a horse to the food street. He did not decrease his speed at all as he passed through the place. Slowing down would be a mistake. If the Mist Draconic horse was still there and he decreased his speed, it would be difficult to escape, so he decided to keep on running. Crunch, crunch. A few green dwarf jumped up, but they were directly sent flying away by Wei Xiaobei like golf balls that had not been aimed properly. It's not here. The mist that signified the Mist Draconic horse was not in the food street. Wei Xiaobei, who was still a bit far from the food district, saw through the entire place and became extremely happy. In reality, if Wei Xiaobei did not need to, he was a person who refuses to face reality. He was unwilling to provoke an existence like the Mist Draconic horse. Wei Xiaobei thought that dealing with the big tree spirit was easier than the Mist Draconic horse. Although both were the same rank, the Mist Draconic horse had the corrosive mist, fast speed, and strong recovery ability. Any of these was enough to become a fatal threat to Wei Xiaobei. The big tree was different. Although he could not win, he would still be able to dodge them. The weakness of the big tree spirit was its slowness that could allow many creatures to escape on time. Naturally, creatures of the same rank as the big tree spirit would be able to survive against it easily. When Wei Xiaobei stepped in the food street, his heart completely settled down. No matter what, as long as a person stepped on familiar land, whether it was the dust world or not, they would have a sense of security. This kind of feeling was hard for outsiders to feel. The food street appeared to have become more ruined than before. If previously Wei Xiaobei had thought that the food street had aged by 10 years, it had now aged by 100 years. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei could see that the food street had shortened by more than a third. What's going on? The grass field had expanded by 10 times its original size while the food street had, on the contrary, shrunk. Cluck, cluck, cluck. When Wei Xiaobei slowed down, he heard a dispirited chicken noise. A shangfu appeared in front of him. Although the sound was a shangfu's, it appeared incredibly spiritless. Its originally glossy and bright feather had turned dull and murky. However, even if it was in this state, it still showed its original ferocity when it saw Wei Xiaobei. Compared to the first time he encountered a shangfu, Wei Xiaobei only smiled and grabbed its beak. With a strong pull, the shangfu easily fell down the ground. It was not that the shangfu was weak, but Wei Xiaobei was stronger. In the beginning, a normal 2-star creature was enough to give him a hard time, but now, he was able to capture it easily. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei did not have any plans of sparing it. He did not have the skill charm control, and even if he brought it back, Zhu Xine would not be able to control it. The shangfu was a 2-star creature, while Zhu Xine was a 1-star creature. He broke the shangfu's neck and then stabbed it with his white mist knife. He pulled out an empty bottle to catch the blood while it also refined his white mist knife. Shangfu's blood was good stuff. After drinking it, his health would increase by 0.2 and endurance by 0.3. Although it was not that useful for Wei Xiaobei now, it was a hard-to-earn treasure for Huang Kun and Zhu Xine. Wei Xiaobei frowned. He dragged the Shangfu corpse to an empty shop. The meat of the Shangfu was good, especially when turned into jerky. At least compared to the hardtack, it was much more nutritional. Moreover, it could even relieve fatigue. However, if he left it in the empty shop, it would be taken by other monsters. As a result, he could only return quickly and hope it wasn't taken by then. Wei Xiaobei covered the corpse with a couple of broken things and exited the shop. Then he began to run through the food street. The food street was not long. He had already reached the apartment street after making a single turn. However, Wei Xiaobei was startled when he reached the apartment street. Everything he saw in the apartment street was even more ruined than that of the food street. Even the walls of the apartments had collapsed. Wei Xiaobei walked forward and lightly kicked a piece of brick. He was stunned to see that when the brick he kicked struck another brick, both of them disintegrated into nothing, as if it was a magic prop. Wah! Wei Xiaobei continued to kick the bricks on the ground. Every brick that Wei Xiaobei kicked, no matter how strong the kick was, disintegrated into nothing. Wei Xiaobei shook his head, pondered for a bit, and came to a guess. Could this be caused by the changes in reality? The apartment street in reality was in the process of being demolished. He did not know if this was caused by the decrease of people in the apartment street, or caused by the construction in reality. However, since a big incident just happened in the apartment street, the Dahao Real Estate Company should not be able to begin construction yet. This was why the number of people moving might have been the true cause that created this effect. Wei Xiaobei recorded this change in his mind. He prepared to inspect the apartment street once he returned back to reality. As for police trying to find him, Wei Xiaobei was not that worried. If he could not go out in daytime, then why not go at night? However, he would soon know that the changes in the apartment street would give him a lot of trouble. The walls had already collapsed, so he did not need to go through the gates. He easily walked towards his previous apartment building and entered the place. However, what made Wei Xiaobei panic was that every step he took inside the apartment building, it would leave a deep hole. The wooden boards that was used to make the floor of the apartment building had completely become grains of sand. Even the cement below it was also the same. Wei Xiaobei could not help but stop breathing. He could not help but do this. Wei Xiaobei even thought that if his breathing was loud enough, the entire place would collapse. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Every step he took would cause white and gray dust to float up into the air. When he reached the front of his old room, he pushed open the door. Without any obstruction, his hand had passed through the door, and the door immediately turned into dust particles. Not good. Dodge. At this time, Wei Xiaobei Simple did not dare hesitate and charged into the dust. Whoosh! Boom! The entire building collapsed. Dust particles spread everywhere like a white-colored fog. Boom! 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 The nearby buildings received the effects of the building collapse. Like dominoes, they also collapsed. In just 1 minute, the entire apartment street was covered in dust. The dust had reached into the food street and even the distant Lake Chui. Cough, cough, cough. After a short time, the dust finally settled. The entire street was now covered in layers of dust. Wei Xiaobei took a while before he was able to drill out of the sand, and he coughed fiercely. This was something that could not be helped. Although Wei Xiaobei was fast, the building started to collapse before he was able to enter the room. As a result, Wei Xiaobei was only barely able to grab a few bags before being buried underneath the dust. However, there was no danger to Wei Xiaobei caused by the collapse. After all, the entire building turned into dust. Although there was a little bit of an impact from the sudden descent of dust, it was not that big. Wei Xiaobei was not pressed down to the point of spitting out blood. He used his utmost to pull out the bags and got up. Pa! Poo! Spit! The dust was too disgusting. Wei Xiaobei spat out a few times, but he could still taste and smell the dust, so he had no choice but to waste a few bottles of water to wash his mouth out. As for his entire body being covered in dust, Wei Xiaobei decided to ignore it. After tidying up, Wei Xiaobei passed through the dense dust and walked toward the food street. He returned to the place he left the shangfu at and pulled it out. Then he suddenly heard a buzzing noise. He felt that the sound was very familiar. He tried to remember what it was. In a few breaths' time, Wei Xiaobei remembered the source of the sound. It was like a black tide that surged out from Lake Chui and slowly moved toward the outer perimeter of the apartment street. It was the black beetles from Lake Chui. Without a doubt, this was the cause of the sound. In reality, if he had not increased his intelligence, he might not have been able to recall them. Could the reason they came out be due to the collapse of the buildings? What did this mean? Wei Xiaobei felt that some things faintly started to reveal themselves in his mind, but when he was about to grasp them, they disappeared. Could it be because the powerful monsters lurking in the apartment street had left? Or could it be because the deterrent brought by the apartment street against the black beetles disappeared? Wei Xiaobei pondered for a bit and came to a conclusion. No matter what the cause was, the black beetles were moving toward him, so he could not waste any more time. It must be known that the black beetles were not inferior to the sacred beetle descendants. Although the number of sacred beetle descendants was comparable to that of the black beetles and were stronger than them, the black beetles had the thousand-eyed devil behind them. That thing was horrific. Wei Xiaobei had once seen it directly in the eyes in the past and was almost killed by it. Wei Xiaobei was not afraid of enemies that were stronger than him, but he did not want to provoke strange and mysterious existences like the thousand-eyed devil. What am I doing? I should be running away. Although the black beetles were monsters that could give him a large sum of evolution points, they were still far fewer compared to the points received from the green dwarfs. Wei Xiaobei carried a backpack, hung 3 more backpacks on his left shoulder, and vigorously threw the shangfu's corpse on his right shoulder as he charged through the food street. In reality, Wei Xiaobei's height was now 6 feet 2 inches. All of his muscles were now bulging to the point that the Adidas shirt he was wearing had been stretched to its limit. With such a body, looking at him carrying 3 backpacks on his left shoulder and a shangfu on his right shoulder appeared to be rather strange. In reality, if Wei Xiaobei's balance was not high enough, it would be difficult for him to run at the moment. Because he had found out that the black beetles had appeared, he could only run away to safety through the dust-covered food street. When he stepped on the grass field, Wei Xiaobei shook his entire body as if he got sick with epilepsy. He had no other choice but to do this since his entire body and clothes were covered in dust. As he shook his body, the dust had turned the grass gray. The stifling smell and taste of the dust was truly unbearable. If he did not take the thousand-eyed devil and the black beetles into consideration, Wei Xiaobei would have wanted to take a comfortable bath in Lake Chui. After shaking his body, he jumped up and down a few times and then fixed his shirt. Although there was still some dust, it was a lot better than before. He carried the backpacks and the shangfu corpse again and continued walking. The return trip was a lot more difficult. The backpack that he was carrying totaled to about 50 kilograms, while the shangfu's corpse was about 30 kilograms. The total weight had already exceeded 80 kilograms. Because of this, his center of gravity was off, making him waste more strength when running. This was something that would not disappear even with his balance. As for the green dwarfs that blocked his path, every one of them were kicked by him to death. However, maybe because they smelled the scent of the shangfu, they began to gather and increased their numbers to a certain amount. When Wei Xiaobei finally reached Zhu Xine, he had already killed more than 30 green dwarfs and earned 327 evolution points. However, at this time, Wei Xiaobei did not consider the problem of where to allocate his evolution points and instead looked at Zhu Xine. The dust on his eyelashes would not affect his vision. After just a short period of time, the girl in front of him appeared to have become prettier. Even the freckles on her face would not influence her beauty at all. Wei Xiaobei inspected her status. Name, Zhu Xine. Race, human. Gender, female. Age, 18. Creature rank, 1 star. Status, the average adult female status value is 8. Strength, 5.58, muscle, 6.08, sturdiness, 5.08. Agility, 5.64, hand-eye coordination, 5.15, flexibility, 6.18, reflex, 6.13, balance, 5.09. Vitality, 5, health, 4.16, endurance, 6.2. Intelligence, 10.5, learning, 12.5, reasoning, 8.5. Awareness, 9.59, willpower, 9.11, judgment, 8.05, perception, 8.09, intuition, 13.12. Charm, 12.28, courage, 12.56, persuasiveness, 9.11, character, 14.65, leadership, 9.99, appearance, 15.1. Special skills. Charm control. This skill allows the user to control creatures with similar and lower creature rank than the user through means of massacre, threats, kindness, etc. The success rate of this skill is related to the user's charm and intelligence attributes. This ability is an innate ability of the user. For every 1-star increase in the user's rank, this ability would upgrade. This ability can also be obtained when charm and intelligence attributes reach 20 points. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. Items on hand, Sacred Beetle Machete, Substandard Sharpness, Mirror of Confusion. Wei Xiaobei stared blankly at Zhu Xine's status. Isn't the increase in status too fast? The growth of the sub-attributes under strength, agility, vitality, and awareness were not that clear, but the sub-attributes under charm seemed to have increased a lot. Wei Xiaobei calculated the increase in her status and determined that she had obtained around 700 evolution points. In Zhu Xine's case, she did not have a status panel, so the benefits that she gained from the evolution points was less than his. This meant that she should have gained more than 800 evolution points. What is this mirror of confusion? Brother Wei. Zhu Xine slightly hesitated when she saw Wei Xiaobei and tried to call out to him. Wei Xiaobei nodded his head before continuing forward. What? Can't recognize me anymore? Wei Xiaobei knew that his entire body was covered in dust, but it should not be to the point that she would not be able to recognize him. Zhu Xine rummaged for something on her body, pulled out a small metal mirror, and then gave it to Wei Xiaobei. Wei Xiaobei grasped a hold of it, looked into it, and frowned. Although he had washed his face before, his face was still covered in dust. As it mixed with his sweat, black marks appeared on his face. His appearance would truly make people who were not familiar with him not able to recognize him. Wei Xiaobei was slightly embarrassed as he put down the things he was carrying on the ground. He took out a bottle of water to wash his face. He then vaguely felt a faint power come from the mirror. He felt that this mirror was familiar. He couldn't help but look into his status panel. Mirror of Confusion. This item was brought into the Dust World by Zhu Xine and mutated as a result of the Dust World. This item can cause slight confusion and increase the effects of charm control. Every time the host succeeds in charming a monsters, this item's effect will increase. So it was like that. Wei Xiaobei roughly understood that the mirror was something on Zhu Xine's body when she initially arrived in the Dust World. Soon afterwards, it was mutated by the Dust World becoming the Mirror of Confusion. Perhaps something had happened when he was not here that had caused this item to mutate. Wei Xiaobei thought for a bit. His own white mist knife was something that began to mutate when he killed the Thunderworm. Wei Xiaobei returned back the mirror to Zhu Xine and asked, "How did you get this mirror?" His eyes examined Zhu Xianyi's face. At this time, Wei Xiaobei did not count on Zhu Xianyi telling him these things, but this would decide how he would treat Zhu Xianyi in the future. Would she be a normal friend or a true friend? If there was someone there who could read Wei Xiaobei's thoughts, they would probably ask Wei Xiaobei, "Why don't you tell your secrets to other people instead of asking for theirs?" This was the unfairness of the world. For example, when a couple had many children, there would always be an inclination that would appear. Or how a criminal would get off scot-free if the evidence was not enough. Or perhaps, when a great flood occurred, people who were still sleeping would be swept away, while people who woke up early would be safe. Wei Xiaobei, who had the power of status appraisal, had the advantage over Zhu Xianyi, so he was in a higher position. He could secretly check Zhu Xianyi's status. This mirror. Ah, I was truly lucky at that time. Hearing Wei Xiaobei's question, Zhu Xianyi had suddenly become talkative as she recounted her story. It seemed that when Wei Xiaobei left, she had encountered a life-or-death battle. Zhu Xianyi's enemies were 5 green dwarfs that had cooperated with each other. Among them, there was one that looked more robust than the others. Xiao Chou had been sent to retreat by 2 of the green dwarfs. On the other hand, when Zhu Xianyi had just killed 2 of them, the robust green dwarf had slashed her thigh. This gash made Zhu Xianyi believe that she was going to die, but in the end, the robust green dwarf had been affected by her charm control. At that time, the mirror was in her pocket and blocked the slash. In the end, the mirror became like that. When Zhu Xianyi touched the mirror, she understood its use. At this time, Zhu Xianyi's fights became easier, and the number of green dwarfs under her charm control increased. As long as they encountered a green dwarf, the green dwarfs under her control swarmed around it. Zhu Xianyi did not even have to make a move as the battle ended quickly. It was easy to imagine the benefits that she had gained. Wei Xiaobei nodded his head and smiled, "Your ability is truly not bad." Wei Xiaobei's sincere smile had uplifted Zhu Xianyi's mood. From this moment on, Wei Xiaobei would treat Zhu Xianyi as a true friend. As the very least, he would not need to worry about something bad happening to her at a crucial moment. This was the important part. For Wei Xiaobei, a knife from the back was much more dangerous than an enemy from the front. "You should be hungry right now. Go pick up a few pieces of firewood." After saying that, Wei Xiaobei could hear the growling sounds coming from Zhu Xianyi's stomach. This was natural. It was understandable for any human to easily feel hungry as their status increased. It was not that Zhu Xianyi was a glutton. Hearing Wei Xiaobei's command, Zhu Xianyi quickly nodded her head. While her face was still blushing, she whistled. Immediately, the patrolling and combative green dwarfs ran over. Wei Xiaobei was speechless as he counted the green dwarfs. There were 24 green dwarfs in total. And 3 of them were elite green dwarfs. Wei Xiaobei inspected an elite green dwarf status. Name, Zhuang Zhuang. Race, green dwarf. Gender, male. Age, 0.3. Creature rank, 1-star elite. Status, the average adult green dwarf status value is 4.5. Strength, 6, muscle, 6, sturdiness, 6. Agility, 5, hand-eye coordination, 5, flexibility, 5, reflex, 5, balance, 5. Vitality, 5.5, health, 5.5, endurance, 5.5. Intelligence, 2.5, learning, 3, reasoning, 2. Awareness, 6, willpower, 5, judgment, 5, perception, 7, intuition, 7. Charm, 4.4, courage, 6, persuasiveness, 4, character, 4, leadership, 5, appearance, 3. Skill, flee, 100% increase in speed when running away or fighting for food. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. Items on hand, worn-out kitchen knife. Without a doubt, this green dwarf was an elite among green dwarfs. Its attribute values were also within Wei Xiaobei's expectations. The only thing that had surprised Wei Xiaobei was the flee skill, a skill created from constant fleeing. Wei Xiaobei felt that this skill was not bad at all as it could help preserve their lives. As for the name Zhuang Zhuang, it was without a doubt named by Zhu Xine. However, when Wei Xiaobei had inspected Zhuang Zhuang became angry and violently shouted. From the looks of it, being inspected by status appraisal was unpleasant for the monsters. These monsters' natures were single-minded, but they were quite extreme. If you provoked them, they would immediately get angry. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei already anticipated this. The charmed monsters should roughly understand that he was in the same group as their master, otherwise, they would have already bared their fangs at him. Next, Wei Xiaobei cut open the shangfu while envying Zhu Xine's charm control ability. Following Zhu Xine's orders, the gathered green dwarfs immediately dispersed and ran everywhere. They would then pick up withered branches, dry grass, and even dried feces wherever they passed. When they could not hold them anymore, they would return back and pile the things up. Compared to humans, the green dwarfs had some kind of innate ability in picking things up. Wei Xiaobei quickly dissected the shangfu into pieces as the firewood around the place had increased to more than 10 piles. The next task was to light up the fire. Compared to how he previously drilled wood to make fire, creating fire was now much more convenient. He grabbed some dry grass and ignited them with the blue electric arc. In an instant, the grass burned up, and he threw them into the pile. Wei Xiaobei then skewered the chicken meat and started rotating them on top of the bonfire. The fragrance of meat immediately made the green dwarfs treat Wei Xiaobei better. The green dwarfs appeared as if they had never smelled such a thick scent of meat. When they sniffed it, they immediately drooled a waterfall. Wei Xiaobei looked at the green dwarfs that were staring at the chicken meat. He was worried that they would not be able to endure and jump into the flames to get the food. As a result, he told Zhu Xine, who was helping him, give them the shangfu's offals. But the offals are dirty. Zhu Xine nauseatingly spoke. However, she immediately knew that she was wrong and obediently followed the orders to give the green dwarfs the offals. The green dwarfs needed food, or they would starve to death. This was not a game where monsters that were charmed and tamed would not need to eat or drink. The green dwarfs under Zhu Xine's control would get hungry. However, there was one advantage to them, and that was that they could find food locally if they got hungry. Naturally, if the owner could give them enough food and decreased the amount of time they searched for food, the owner could increase their combat time. The greatest benefit to the owner was the quick increase in gains or increase in attribute values. The green dwarfs looked at the roasted meat on the fire and drooled, but in the end, they reluctantly parted their view and quickly took the shangfu's offals. The amount of roasted meat that could be obtained from a single shangfu was around 15 kilograms. However, this was enough for Wei Xiaobei and Zhu Xine. After filling up their bellies, Wei Xiaobei and Zhu Xine became spirited again. In reality, the amount of time they had stayed in the dust world was almost close to 5 hours. According to convention, it was almost time for them to leave. However, after eating the shangfu meat, their minds became clearer. This meant that the amount of time they could stay in the dust world had increased a bit. After putting away their things, Wei Xiaobei told Zhu Xine some of his plans. He prepared to go to Chuihu University to find a place to hide the food and water. However, Zhu Xine was not willing to stay there alone. As a result, the two of them walked together while the 24 green dwarfs followed behind them. Every time they encountered a green dwarf on the way, they would surround it and kill it. After getting rid of the inconvenience that was the shangfu's corpse, Wei Xiaobei's gait became better. He would even run ahead and kick green dwarfs that were charging at him. The distance from the hole to Chuehu University had increased. For Wei Xiaobei, this distance was not long, but for Zhu Xine, it was a laborious task. Luckily, Zhu Xine was able to receive benefits from the green dwarfs killing their brethren and recovered a bit. Additionally, Wei Xiaobei would display his empathy and stop to rest from time to time. He would then hunt some green dwarfs to earn quite more evolution points. After around an hour, Wei Xiaobei and Zhu Xine made it to Chuehu University's gate. This is Chuehu University. Zhu Xine looked at the tottering sign with puzzlement. That's right. This is Chuehu University. And, I am from Chuehu City. At this point, Wei Xiaobei did not hide this information anymore and immediately explained a few things to her. He also told her things that she needed to watch out for in the dust world as well as how to enter and how to leave it. Zhu Xine obediently listened. She did not interrupt him until he finished speaking. Zhu Xine asked, Brother Wei, I am from Hangzhou University. The distance from there to here should be more 2,000 kilometers in reality. How could I have appeared here? In reality, Wei Xiaobei had been thinking about this ever since he found out that Zhu Xine came to the dust world from Hangzhou University's student dormitory. However, Wei Xiaobei was unable to come up with an answer for this no matter how much he thought about it. I also don't know. The group that you came with also had people from different places, and not one of them was from Chuehu City. Wei Xiaobei explained while wrinkling his brows. The accent of people from Chuehu City was a bit special. Wei Xiaobei himself was also an outsider, so he could tell if people came from Chuehu City. Is that so? Zhu Xine wrinkled her delicate brows and thought about it as well. However, it goes without saying that she could come up with nothing. In terms of reasoning, Wei Xiaobei and Zhu Xine were neither Conan nor Sherlock Holmes. The rules of the dust world were vague. Who knew if there was even any? What made Wei Xiaobei puzzled was that when he approached the laboratory building, there were no zombies on the lawn behind the building. All traces of the zombies that wandered around behind the building had disappeared. Could it be that they had moved? Wei Xiaobei frowned. The disappearance of the zombies gave him a bad premonition. However, his early warning ability did not alarm him, so the effects of this should not be that much. Let's go up. Wei Xiaobei chose to use this laboratory building to hide the food and water. Compared to the apartment building, the laboratory building seemed much more sturdier. He believed that what happened to the apartment building would not happen again for at least a period of time. Bang! Wei Xiaobei kicked open a random office. There was an old bookshelf with a tattered old book on it. With a slight push, he cleared the bookshelf. Then, he placed most of the food and water inside, leaving only one bag with him. This was only a temporary storage area, and could change as the situation changes. Wei Xiaobei lifted up a few lockers and blocked them in front of the bookshelf. Only then did he sigh in relief. They continued upstairs and Wei Xiaobei subdued the mutated white mice to let Zhu Xine control them. This way, the green dwarf's lack of speed could be compensated. Rest a bit. Wei Xiaobei smiled as he sat on the edge of the roof while his eyes scanned his surroundings. Soon, Wei Xiaobei thought of a certain matter and called Zhu Xine to his side. He took out a bottle from his backpack that was filled with red liquid. Zhu Xine looked at the bottle with hesitation. Is this blood? Wei Xiaobei smiled. That's right. It is blood. It is the blood of a shangfu. If you drink it, it is beneficial for your body. After saying this, he immediately passed the bottle to Zhu Xine, indicating for her to drink it. Zhu Xine wrinkled her delicate eyebrows. Wei Xiaobei even thought that she would refuse, but she actually clenched her teeth, opened the bottle, and took 2 big gulps. Without a doubt, the first thing that came to Zhu Xine's mind was disgust at the pungent scent of blood. She covered her mouth and did not move from the spot. Wei Xiaobei reminded her, don't spit it out. There will be no effect if you spit it out. If it was a different girl, they would have most likely not taken Wei Xiaobei's warning and just spit out the disgusting blood. However, Zhu Xine listened to Wei Xiaobei's words and forcefully swallowed the blood. Then she drank a few gulps of water to get rid of the bloody taste. I feel something warm flowing through my body. What is happening? Zhu Xine's words made Wei Xiaobei nod. He felt that collecting the Shangfu blood in a bottle and bringing it back had not been a waste. However, Wei Xiaobei looked at the blood in the bottle that was still more than half full and shook his head. When Zhu Xine took 2 gulps of the blood, the remaining blood had already lost the effects of increased health and endurance. It had become normal blood that would only sate a bit of thirst or hunger. It seems that doing it by this way is going to be difficult. The reason why Wei Xiaobei did not drink the Shangfu blood on the spot and brought it back, was to see if he could divide the Shangfu blood into different bottles to let others drink. If the effects were maintained, then the benefits would be bigger. Unfortunately, Wei Xiaobei had miscalculated. Even if he used a bottle, as long as a single mouthful had been drunk, the remaining blood would lose its effects. This was one of the many mysteries of the dust world. Zhu Xine stood silently on the spot as she enjoyed the warmth and increase in status brought by the Shangfu's blood. The place was very peaceful. Let alone humans, there weren't even any zombies. As for the green dwarfs and the white mice, they were patrolling in the lower floors. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei thought that their patrol was useless. If a licker appeared, then the green dwarfs and the white mice would all die in a short amount of time. Their numbers had not yet reached the point of being able to surpass the difference in ability. Brother Wei. Zhu Xine sat beside Wei Xiaobei and looked at him with wide eyes. It seemed that the effects of the Shangfu blood had subsided. However, Wei Xiaobei did not plan to check her status. Checking other people's status would incite the other person's awareness. Wei Xiaobei was not willing to use it on his own people. After all, Wei Xiaobei did not want Zhu Xine to treat him like a pervert. Even if he was a pervert, Zhu Xine would probably not change her attitude towards him, but it would leave a bad taste in his mouth. What's wrong? Wei Xiaobei could feel Zhu Xine's heartbeat quicken, but it was not the type of being in love. Could you give me your number? I'm worried that I would not be able to contact you once I return to reality. Zhu Xine blushed as she muttered. If it was a different narcissistic person, they might have thought that she had fallen for them. 189 ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Wei Xiaobei knew that the next time Zhu Xine entered the dust world, she may not necessarily be on the same place. As a result, he did not refuse it and immediately gave her his number. Mine is 187 asterisk 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 dot. Zhu Xine immediately said her number and then gazed down the building. After entering the dust world, everything that would happen would leave a strong impact, especially for a girl's. Even if she could already grab a machete and kill the green dwarfs, she felt at a loss when she remembered the things that had happened. She questioned if she could still live peacefully after she returned to reality. Wei Xiaobei's gaze landed on her. He was able to tell from her struggling expression that her heart was wavering. However, this was something that she needed to think of for herself. Wei Xiaobei would not do anything to steer her thoughts. After a long time, Zhu Xine hesitantly looked at Wei Xiaobei and spoke, "Brother Wei, I want to return first." Return for her did not mean going back to the grass field or any other place, but return to reality. It seemed that Zhu Xine had not yet arrived at an answer after thinking for a long time. Wei Xiaobei nodded and told her how to leave the dust world. Although Wei Xiaobei had always returned to reality, there were times when his mind could not support himself anymore and he just left on his own. According to his instructions, Zhu Xine lied down on the ground and closed her eyes. In her mind she thought, "Leave, leave, leave." Following the thought that she kept repeating in her mind, her mind gradually felt muddled. Seeing Zhu Xinyi's body gradually become transparent, Wei Xiaobei knew that she was about to leave and return to reality. He turned his head and looked out. He was amazed to notice that the green dwarf and white mice were also becoming transparent. The only thing different was that they could still moor around while they were disappearing. Finally, Zhu Xinyi's body and the monsters completely disappeared from the dust world. Seeing this scene, Wei Xiaobei felt relieved. In this situation, the next time Zhu Xinyi entered the dust world, even if he was not close to her, the green dwarfs and white mice would protect her. Following her departure, Wei Xiaobei suddenly felt tired. It was not his body or mind that was tired but his heart. Wei Xiaobei felt that there was no more goal to look forward to in the dust world, that nothing mattered anymore. Perhaps sitting there until he died would be better. Wei Xiaobei muttered as his eyes became lifeless, but a sign of struggle appeared on his face. A red-clothed woman appeared behind Wei Xiaobei. Her face was pure white and only the scarlet dress could be seen. Suddenly, a withered leaf flew past Wei Xiaobei's eyes as it was blown by the wind. Crackle, crackle. A blue electric arc suddenly appeared all over Wei Xiaobei's body and wrapped him in an electrical net. Then, it spread in all directions. In an instant, the illusionary red-clothed woman screamed and her body disappeared in midair. Wei Xiaobei pulled back the electric net as if it was never there to begin with. Only then did Wei Xiaobei snap out from his lifeless state. What just happened? Wei Xiaobei was puzzled as he looked at his clothes that were burnt by the electric net. He stood up and tore his clothes, letting them fly with the wind. Why did I feel like I had just released electricity? Wei Xiaobei felt an unbearable hunger, so he immediately knew what he just did. He suppressed his hunger and looked at the battle log. Battle log. Strange evil possession appeared. Willpower failed to resist. Evil possession entered the body. Quick reaction activated release electricity. Evil possession was cleared away. Seeing this, Wei Xiaobei sucked in cold air. Wei Xiaobei suddenly remembered everything that happened while he was in the lifeless state. I had actually thought of committing suicide. Holy crap. Fortunately, I had increased my reaction to 20 points. This quick reaction ability is truly great. At the time that he was unable to control his thoughts, he had actually released electricity and drove away the evil possession. He knew that he might have died then and there. Committing suicide in the dust world was very easy. Thinking about it, this is the second time the evil possession appeared. After the evil possession appeared the second time, the threat level seemed to have increased. It was much more dangerous than the first time he encountered it. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei was still calm even though his back was drenched in cold sweat. After thinking for a while, he placed this matter to the back of his head. The first reason he could only do this was because he had no way of dealing with the problem. The second reason was because his release electricity was not something to be trifled with. Moreover, he had the quick reaction skill as insurance. As long as it appeared, his quick reaction skill would work itself and release electricity to get rid of it. However, Wei Xiaobei felt a huge headache afterwards. He admittedly was not scared of being played to death by the evil possession, but he was worried that if this happened in a fierce battle, then he would probably be toast. Luckily, he was not in any fierce battles during the times when the evil possession appeared. Both of the times happened when he was sitting alone, so his fears had yet to come true. He assumed that there must be some kind of condition for this evil possession to appear, otherwise, he would have already died earlier on. How nauseating. When Wei Xiaobei thought about how the evil possession would appear from time to time in the future, he felt his head ache. However, when he pondered about it, he noticed a problem. His willpower seemed to be lacking. Previously, his willpower had allowed him to overpower strong monsters. This had made him satisfied. But now, his boasted of willpower seemed to face its defeat after encountering the evil possession twice. Since he noticed this, he regretted not increasing his willpower. He immediately looked at his status panel. He went back to the food street from Chuehu University, accumulating a total of 487 evolution points. This amount would not be enough to increase his willpower to 20 points, but increasing it was better than not. Wei Xiaobei detested the situation he was in now, where he could not even control his own thoughts. After a few seconds, his evolution points had been completely emptied. His willpower had increased from 12.95 points to 17.82 points. For Wei Xiaobei, increasing his willpower to 17.82 points made him fill up with self-confidence. Even the dust world did not seem to be a big deal to him. He knew that this was a phenomena created by increasing his status to a certain level. For example, when he increased his muscle attribute, he felt that he had the power to lift up a mountain. In reality, it was just a misconception. With Wei Xiaobei's current muscle at 20.05 points, the most he could do was lift up a motorcycle and throw it a few meters away. It should be about time for me to return to reality. Even if the evil possession had disappeared, Wei Xiaobei still felt tired. He looked at the dusty sky of the dust world and felt a slight bit of melancholy. Although his mind was still good, he frankly did not want to stay any longer. After using his response search ability to check his surroundings once, he lied down on the rooftop and continuously thought of leaving. Gradually, his mind began to muddle as he quickly fell asleep. When he opened his eyes, all he could see was black. After a while, Wei Xiaobei was able to see everything around him by relying on the light passing through the curtains. He had returned to reality, and was currently lying down on the huge bed in his new room. He searched for his phone and checked the time. It was already 9 in the evening. Wei Xiaobei thought for a bit and made a call to his big senior apprentice brother. His big senior apprentice brother seemed to have had his phone on him as he immediately answered the phone as soon as the call connected. "Xiaobei, where are you?" His big senior apprentice brother was very calm as if everything were small matters. "I'm outside." "What has happened about that matter?" The reason Wei Xiaobei made a phone call was to ask about the matter of the zombies in the apartment building. Things are currently not that serious. Right now, the most important thing is to check for their identities. However, they were unable to identify any of them. "Do you know what's going on?" His usually silent big senior apprentice brother actually had so many connections. He even clearly understood the movements of the police. However, the most crucial thing was his final question: "Do you know what's going on?" Big senior apprentice brother also knew how to be two-faced. In truth, Wei Xiaobei had been considering this from beginning to end. If his master or apprentice brothers asked about this matter, how would he answer them? Matters about the dust world were too strange for the people who had no contact with it at all to even begin to understand. Initially, Wei Xiaobei decided to keep quiet about it even if they asked. However, from his big senior apprentice brother's words just now, he knew that his master or big senior apprentice brother had already made some kind of conclusion. Big senior apprentice brother's question now was the same as how he had checked whether Zhu Xine had hid anything from him. Wei Xiaobei knew that if he said he did not know anything, his big senior apprentice brother would not continue asking about it, but the relationship between him and his master and apprentice brothers would become strained. What should I do? Wei Xiaobei deeply pondered for a long time. His senior apprentice brother also did not say anything. Wei Xiaobei finally made his decision: "Big senior apprentice brother, I will immediately go back. Some things cannot be understood fully over the phone." Wei Xiaobei knew a bit about investigating crimes. He knew that a big city like Chuehu City where a huge homicidal case had just occurred would definitely monitor all the communication lines. As a result, Wei Xiaobei could not say these things on the phone. His big senior apprentice brother was also cautious as he did not mention any of the sensitive topics of lunatics, zombies, or police. "Okay. I will wait for you with master." His big senior apprentice brother seemed to have known Wei Xiaobei would say this based on how happily he replied. Wei Xiaobei hung up the phone, completely overwhelmed with emotion. He felt moved due to the trust his master and apprentice brothers had given him. But there was also the excitement of telling them matters about the dust world. After sitting for a while, Wei Xiaobei immediately got up and changed his clothes. His Adidas shirt had already been ruined by the electricity, so he could not immediately go out. Not to mention that he could accidentally encounter Zhang Tian and Li Lanxing, those two beauties. When he went out, the neighborhood he was living in would also have increased the surveillance within the streets. He lightly pushed open the door and looked towards the living room. There he saw Zhang Tian and Li Lanxing sitting on the sofa while covered in bath towels that slightly revealed their snow-white chests. Their legs were stretched over the small table while watching a soap opera on the television. This was the first time Wei Xiaobei had ever seen this kind of scene ever since the beginning of his existence. His abdomen feverishly burned as he gulped. This scene was too much for a person like him. Moreover, he had to cross the living room to get to the door. It was impossible for him to hide from the two women's sights unless something supernatural happened. If he climbed out the window, he would be reported to the police. If he quickly ran past the living room, the two women might be frightened half to death. He decided to slowly go down. Wei Xiaobei slowly walked down the ladder in their split-level home. This had immediately attracted the two's attention. "Brother Wei, you were home? There is still food in the refrigerator. Let me help you heat it up." Seeing Wei Xiaobei, Zhang Tian passionately and hastily stood up, making the bath towel fall off. Li Lanxing was different from Zhang Tian, she teased Wei Xiaobei, "Yo, Xiaobei. When did you learn to hide upstairs to peek at beautiful women? Did you properly look at your sister's slender legs?" Wei Xiaobei blushed. He felt that the two women were different from what they used to be. Could this be the effect of the night on lonely men and women? "There is no need for that, Tian. I was sleeping in my room until a while ago. I have things to attend to now, so I'll be taking my leave." Wei Xiaobei charged through the living room and out the door. Whether it was Li Lanxing or Zhang Tian, they would not block him while they were in their bath towels. Moreover, the relationship between them was ultimately just friends living in the same place. In the first place, it would be impossible for the two of them to even pull Wei Xiaobei back. Naturally, if the two of them actually did it, Wei Xiaobei was half willing and half unwilling. Most men understood this. No matter what was said, Wei Xiaobei entered the elevator while feeling that he had missed something good. However, Wei Xiaobei was able to put it down to rest. The only problem now, was that his stomach was rumbling loudly. The hunger that he had suppressed was now rising back up, making him almost think that the button on the elevator were circular biscuits. After exiting the elevator, he ran to the district gate, only then did he slow down to prevent the surveillance from thinking that he was a thief. The location of the district was not bad. There was a shopping street immediately outside. An old woman was selling eggs outside the gate and would shout weakly from time to time, "Tea eggs, delicious tea eggs. You don't need to pay if it's not delicious." Smelling the fragrance, Wei Xiaobei's mouth could not help salivate. "Give me all the eggs and keep the change." Wei Xiaobei opened the lid, counted the eggs, and gave a 100 yuan bill to the old woman. The old woman knew that there were 30 eggs inside and it was 2 yuan apiece, totaling 60 yuan. 40 yuan would remain if she subtracted this from 100 yuan, so she was reluctant to keep so much. She pulled Wei Xiaobei aside and placed a few more eggs inside. Wei Xiaobei would not say anything more. At this point, money was a small matter. The problem was that it would take more than half an hour to cook the eggs. How could he possibly wait any further? He took a plastic bag and picked up all the eggs without being afraid of scalding. When the old woman seemed to have come to her senses, Wei Xiaobei had already left and hailed a cab, leaving the place as if he were never there. The old woman came to her senses again and thought about the money being fake. She immediately checked it under ultraviolet light and saw that it was actually real. She immediately replenished the eggs because it was almost time for people to come for midnight snacks. She could always sell more than 10 during that time. Just like that, the old woman had immediately forgotten about Wei Xiaobei. Compared to the nervous old woman, Wei Xiaobei received a supercilious look from driver as he got on. After Wei Xiaobei got on, he told the driver where to go and repeatedly did 2 actions: peel the egg and stuff it into his mouth. The smell of the stewed egg drifted inside the cab, making the driver who had not yet eaten salivate. He cursed in his heart, "Are you trying to tempt me?" However, the driver became worried in the end. The boy had already eaten more than 10 eggs, so he was worried that he might just burst from filling up his stomach. The place Wei Xiaobei told the driver to go to was the park he had previously did a little parkour. This means that they would go past the apartment street. While passing the apartment street, Wei Xiaobei was still peeling eggs, but he had slightly slowed down. Naturally, the driver did not notice this at all. Just as he had guessed. The Dahao real estate seemed to have pulled some strings. The case of the zombie attack had not yet been concluded, but they had already began to tear down the buildings. In reality, the zombie attack was the Dahao real estate's good fortune. Otherwise, it would not have been that easy to tear the place down. Luckily, the company was not deranged. Wei Xiaobei saw that the section of apartments where the zombie attack happened were still preserved properly. A few police officers were standing nearby to guard the place. Go to XX Street. After passing by the apartment street, Wei Xiaobei immediately told the driver to change direction. When he had reached his 29th egg, the cab made it to XX Street. Wei Xiaobei took out a bill and said, "Keep the change," as he carried the bag down. When the driver saw sauce on the bill, he could not help but feel disgusted. However, he could not throw the money away. It was a 50 yuan bill after all, while the meter was only 12 yuan. He had made a big profit. Since there was money, the driver suppressed his disgust. He placed it in his gearbox and stepped on the gas, leaving the place. Wei Xiaobei quickened his peeling, and by the time he reached the dojo doors, the eggs had all been finished. He threw the bag and egg shells into the nearby trash can, and entered the dojo. As he entered, he spotted a dark figure behind the door. Ah! Third senior apprentice brother. Wei Xiaobei had good eyes. Even if it was dark, the small amount of light was enough to see the other party. "You have returned. Master told me to wait for you." Yao Wu did not talk much. After saying these 2 sentences, he closed his mouth and checked outside before closing the door. Wei Xiaobei felt that his third senior apprentice brother was too cautious. With his awareness, how could he have let an uninvited guest follow him? Naturally, this was pardonable. After all, they were in a sensitive time. When he reached the inner practice ground, Wei Xiaobei was slightly surprised. The people inside were all sitting together and passionately playing chess. "Second senior apprentice brother, you have returned." Wei Xiaobei was amazed to see Zhang Zhilong, who had not returned for a long time. Among the apprentice brothers, Wei Xiaobei was closest with Zhang Zhilong. After greeting the master and big senior apprentice brother, Wei Xiaobei pulled Zhang Zhilong aside to talk. Wei Xiaobei's heavy mood had somewhat lightened up. "Xiaobei, come here," his master's voice cut through their conversation. Wei Xiaobei turned his head and saw that the game had finished. He saw the pieces and guessed that his master had won. Master is too strong. Older people are truly wiser. Hearing the master's summons, Wei Xiaobei was slightly fearful and began to start his flatter. "Are saying that your big senior apprentice brother's chess skills are bad?" Chang Baiwu asked with a smile. "No, never. Big senior apprentice brother is also strong. Just a bit lacking compared to master." Wei Xiaobei made a gesture as he sighed inwardly. He had not been with Huang Kuan for a long time, yet he had already picked up his skills. Being secretly influenced is scary. Pooh! We had just seen each other yesterday, yet you have learned to become like Huang Kuan. This is truly not like you. Zhang Zhilong on the side smiled as he berated. Being berated by Zhang Zhilong had decreased the fear he had. He cupped his hand and said to Zhang Zhilong, "Second senior apprentice brother's eyes are truly perceptive. I had actually been seen through by you. In the past few days, I had accompanied Huang Kuan somewhere." Relying on this opening, Wei Xiaobei began to tell them things about the dust world. At the start, everyone thought that Wei Xiaobei was just joking, but combining it with Wei Xiaobei's increased height and body size, they at least half believed it. Wei Xiaobei took out the citizen of Longbow's leg hair. He explained what it was, making them believe 30% more. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei did not take everything out. His status panel for one was his hidden trump card. Wei Xiaobei's information on the dust world came out all in one monologue. It took almost 2 hours for him to finish. The tea had been refilled multiple times during the course of him talking, and it was also the first time Wei Xiaobei had experienced the care of having his apprentice brother fill up tea for him. Naturally, the main reason he drank so much water was because the old woman's stewed eggs were too salty. If he were not hungry to the point of being able to swallow an entire cow, he would only be willing to pay 1.5 yuan for a single egg. When Wei Xiaobei finally finished, everyone, even his master, had their mouths wide open with lifeless eyes. Without a doubt, the matter that came out of Wei Xiaobei's mouth had a lot of material evidence, so they had not choice but to completely believe in him. However, everything was just too unimaginable. They felt like someone just told them anyone who stepped outside would step on dog shit and then ascend to become gods. However, it was, without a doubt, real. Is there really such a place? It doesn't sound bad at all. Silence dominated the inner practice grounds. Zhang Zhilong was the first to open his mouth. From his expression, it was easy to tell that he would be the first to sign up if there was a chance to enter the dust world. In contrast to his big senior apprentice brother and third senior apprentice brother, his second senior apprentice brother's innate skill in martial arts was bad. He was born in a rich family. Although he could eat well and sleep well, he was born weak and prone to illness. Now, although he appeared to be more robust than normal people, he was still weaker than the other two apprentice brothers in terms of speed and strength. Martial arts did not only rely on pure skills but also on strength and speed. For example, Tachi, that was very popular at the moment, spoke of a huge return for a very small investment. However, if there was nothing to begin with, how could there be a return? Moreover, for Guoshu experts with the same skill level, strength and speed would determine who had the advantage. Another example would be training Qi. Guoshu experts that had better bodies would be able to grow faster and further than those who had weaker bodies. Other than strength and speed, there was also understanding, perseverance, and other natural factors. However, one thing could be said: people who were born strong would have a bigger advantage. Zhang Zhilong's current thoughts were more on stealing the family head position. This was something that could not be helped. If his innate talent could reach his big senior apprentice brother, he could eventually throw his family to the side and focus on training. Wei Xiaobei's words appeared as if a gigantic opportunity in front of him, so he could not help but be excited. The dust world really isn't bad. His big senior apprentice brother and third senior apprentice brother also agreed. Their innate talent was not bad, but the thought of being able to become stronger in the dust world and become a Guoshu expert made them unable to resist. However, Cheng Baiwu's words made everyone come back to their senses. According to your words, the lunatics that appeared in the apartment street were the zombies that you encountered in the dust world, right? Then, would this situation happen in the future? Master is truly worthy of being called master. His words had grasped the main point of the issue. Since the zombies appeared in reality, then wouldn't the other monsters that he had mentioned also have a chance of appearing in reality? I also don't know this, but logically, it should be possible. Wei Xiaobei slightly hesitated. In truth, he had already deduced this countless times. From his understanding and comprehension, Wei Xiaobei roughly determined that the dust world had a close relationship with reality, and reality would reflect the changes in the dust world. For example, the apartment streets collapse in the dust world due to the construction in the real world. Since the zombies entered the real world, this meant that some kind of dimensional path had opened up between reality and the dust world. Naturally, this also had something to do with the situation where people were dragged into the dust world. In short, when this dimensional path appears, it could create more paths for monsters to enter reality and vice versa. Milk, eggs, cheese. Wei Xiaobei had another guess. The zombies were all people who had been bitten by zombies, but before they became zombies they had returned to reality, becoming zombies in the real world. Naturally, this argument was not that persuasive because no zombie virus was found. If their real identities could be found, then it would be determined that they were people that came from reality. Cheng Baiwu's face became solemn when Wei Xiaobei finished. Since it's like that, then we need to arrange a few things earlier. Master? What things? All of them asked in unison. If the master needed things to be done, the disciples should act. In front of the master, these disciples were much more respectful than to their parents. Make CC transfer schools. Send her back to the old home. When Cheng Baiwu said this, the thoughts of the disciples differed from each other. The common thing that they understood was that no matter how strong Cheng Baiwu was, he was still a father. Seeing the possibility of danger that could come to Chuehu City, he did not feel at ease to let his daughter study there. This was not because Cheng Baiwu did not have the confidence to protect Cheng Cc. As a father, it was just that he was not willing to see her encounter any possible danger. Yes. Your disciple will go handle this matter. In handling matters, Zhang Zhilong was the best among the disciples. After handing the matter of the transfer to Zhang Zhilong, Wei Xiaobei could clearly see that Cheng Baiwu was now much more relaxed. We will adapt as the situation progresses. It's already late, so everyone should go take a rest. Seeing Zhang Zhilong make a phone call, he gave instructions as he walked inside. Wei Xiaobei returned to his room, turned on his computer and checked for the latest news. He had a premonition that the zombies invading reality was not only happening in Chuehu City. No matter what was said, Chuehu City was not a place that was filled with some sort of spiritual influence of heaven and earth. Wei Xiaobei did not think that good things and bad things happened only to the place. He opened the browser and searched for zombies, lunatics, monsters, paranormal, terrifying and other search keys. Lines of websites filled the browser. Before he had even began to search, his phone rung. When he looked at the caller, the name, Zhu Xine, appeared. Wei Xiaobei was ashamed. He had previously agreed to stay in contact with her when he returned to reality, but he had completely forgotten about it until Zhu Xine called. Brother Wei? Is this Brother Wei? When he answered the call, the voice from the other side carried a tinge of happiness. It's me. Are you alright? Wei Xiaobei was weak at using language. If it were other men, he would even boast about knowing political issues, astronomy, military affairs etc. But his words became clumsy as soon as he started speaking to a girl. I'm fine. It's just that when I returned, I was interrogated by my roommate. Luckily, she did not notice anything. Wei Xiaobei seemed to be able to see Zhu Xine's cute appearance of her sticking out her tongue. Thinking about it, although she had disappeared for only a few hours, she had become more beautiful. It would definitely not have been easy to explain this. What about your Xiao Chou? Wei Xiaobei suddenly thought of this question. After all, he had seen the green dwarfs disappear from the dust world, so they might have followed the master and appeared in reality. They did not appear with me, but I could feel their existence. Saying this, her voice fell flat. She felt that her ability was not as outstanding, at the very least, it could not be used to protect herself in reality, and it was too weak compared to Brother Wei. However, Wei Xiaobei had a different thought from her. Perhaps if the ability upgraded, then one day, it might even be possible to summon the monsters in reality. Ah. Right. Brother Wei, are you going somewhere during this period of time? Zhu Xine stayed silent for a bit before suddenly asking a strange question. I don't think so. Is something the matter? Wei Xiaobei did not believe that Zhu Xine would ask such a question without any reason. I will apply for leave of absence tomorrow. After hesitating, Zhu Xine said the truth. What? You are getting a leave of absence? That's not necessary. You had just worked so hard to pass the college examinations. Wei Xiaobei was surprised. In truth, he was envious of those college students. If he had not relaxed in his studies, he might have entered college. Then his current life would have probably been different. As a result, Wei Xiaobei could not help but worry for Zhu Xine as she talked about applying for leave. Brother Wei, there is no problem. It's only a leave of absence. Moreover, I feel that I can no longer return back to my original way of living. Zhu Xine's voice had traces of being at a loss. She might have already made a decision. After all, experiencing the mystery of the dust world made it hard for her to endure the stuffy dormitory life. It was not that she did not love to study, but her eyes had already seen the difference of the two worlds. It was just like the saying, can the sparrow and the swallow know the will of the great swan? The life on top of the ivory tower compared to the dust world was too different. It was like a veteran soldier returning back to a peaceful society. The veteran would definitely have a hard time adapting. Moreover, Zhu Xine had thought further. Since the dust world existed, then what would happen to the real world? People with higher IQ truly thought differently. Okay, your brother Wei will support your decision. However, if you want to enter the dust world, remember to tell me about it. Wei Xiaobei could not help but sigh. Since there was nothing else to say, they both said their goodbyes and hung up. After sitting blankly in front of the computer for a while, Wei Xiaobei turned his attention to the monitor. The results in the browser made Wei Xiaobei frown. What is this? Terrifying classical game monster ranking. Jiangshi. Zombie, Wikipedia. Pornography that ended in terrifying images, how many have you watched? In truth, Wei Xiaobei knew that searching for this kinds of thing would be difficult. In modern times where information spreads everywhere, there were both advantages and disadvantages. The good thing was that anyone that had a computer, or access to the internet would be able to stay at home while still knowing the matters under the sky. If there was anything they could not understand, they only needed to search for it in the internet. The bad thing was that dragons and fish were all mixed together. Searching for specific information would be a hard thing to do. Wei Xiaobei continued to look down and immediately frowned. Another people biting people incident. Could zombies be real? I think this is strange. Wei Xiaobei clicked on it. This information came from different places where a man suddenly turned into a zombie and bit other people. However, the identity of the man was unknown. Afterwards, Wei Xiaobei found another site about mysterious things happening around the world. Some of them included zombies, werewolves, vampires, and other monsters. However, he did not see any information regarding the zombies incident in Chuichu City. Naturally, even if such a forum did exist, it might have been deleted. However, the information that Wei Xiaobei found were all from outside the country. Investigating it further would be hard. As he rubbed his strained eyebrows, he saw that it was already midnight. I should go to sleep. Wei Xiaobei took a bath and then lied down on the bed. His mind kept thinking about the many things plaguing his mind and in the end fell asleep from the tiredness. At 5 in the morning, Wei Xiaobei's biological clock woke him up. He woke up, washed his face, made his way to the practice grounds, and began training. Halfway through his training, his master and apprentice brothers arrived, each choosing a place to train. Wei Xiaobei, at that time, was training his qi, so he did not pay any attention to it. When he finished, he wiped his sweat and prepared to go make breakfast. He never imagined that someone would knock on the dojo doors. When he opened the door, he was slightly stunned. "Little senior apprentice sister, why have you returned?" "What? Are you unhappy to see your senior apprentice sister?" Cheng Si, who was carrying her luggage, became happy as soon as she saw Wei Xiaobei. Her delicate face was brimming with a huge smile. "I was the one who called her here. Why are you still standing there? Go make a meal." At this time, Cheng Baiwu walked over and spoke in a bad mood. "Understood, father." Cheng Si threw her luggage at Wei Xiaobei before going to the kitchen. Wei Xiaobei caught the luggage and did not dare stare there any longer as he immediately slipped away. Anyone would be able to understand from just seeing Cheng Baiwu to know that he was not in a good mood right now. His face was ashen, and anyone who dared to touch it would be courting death. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei did not understand why. Cheng Baiwu was very happy to see his daughter grow up and mature outstandingly. However, as long as he saw a man wandering around his daughter, he would enter into a bad mood. Even if it was his own disciple, Cheng Baiwu would firmly stand guard. In reality, this was normal. This was the mind of a person who became a father. He would be unhappy at the thought of his treasure being stolen by some bad kid. Unfortunately, Wei Xiaobei was on the bad end of the stick this time. Hoping for his master's mood to lighten up was an impossible thing. It could be said that Cheng Baiwu still had a lot of power and influence. While eating breakfast, no one dared to speak. Up till the time they were cleaning the dishes, Wei Xiaobei had not seen his master, so he spoke up. Cheng Si did not hide anything and bluntly stated that her father wanted her to prepare to transfer to a different school, angrily complaining about her father. After all, she had already settled in her university and then she had to suddenly transfer to a different one. The main reason for this was said to be that the dojo was being prepared to be moved back to her old home. When Wei Xiaobei heard this, he knew that his master had hidden information about the dust world from her, so he naturally did not dare tell her about it. However, no matter what was said, Cheng Si was a filial child. Even if she was dissatisfied, she would still listen to her father's arrangements. Afterwards, Cheng Baiwu called all his disciples over and made an announcement. The Qing clan dojo would be moved back to Suzhou. "Are we really moving?" Wei Xiaobei was slightly stunned, but he understood that his master's arrangements were appropriate. According to the trend, there would be many troubles appearing in Chuihu City. Rather than staying in the middle of the chaos, it would be better to leave early and wait for another opportunity to enter the fray. Naturally, it was an appropriate response but also a missed opportunity. It was impossible for Wei Xiaobei to be able to convince his master to stay. However, Zhang Zhilong expressed his intention to stay here. His big senior apprentice brother hesitated for a bit before deciding to follow his master. His third senior apprentice brother did not hesitate at all as he expressed that he would follow his master. Just like that, the Qing clan dojo had been split apart. Luckily, technology had advanced a great deal. As long as a person had a cell phone, it was easy to find other people no matter how far away they were. Since his master had made a decision, everyone busied themselves. Zhang Zhilong went out to contact the moving company. Wei Xiaobei and the others stayed to help pack up stuff that would be moved, such as weapons. As for the wooden pillars, Cheng Baiwu would not bring them. He left them there so that Wei Xiaobei and Zhang Zhilong, who stayed behind, could use them. In other words, the people managing the Qing clan dojo afterwards would be Wei Xiaobei and Zhang Zhilong. Zhang Zhilong's actions were fast. In just a few hours, a big truck arrived. In the end, Cheng Baiwu did not choose to bring too much. Most of the things were left behind for Zhang Zhilong and Wei Xiaobei to use. For example, the storehouse's cutting tools and other items were left behind. For Cheng Bai Wu, these things were a bother to bring back, so it was better to leave them behind since they might return again. Naturally, as Cheng Bai Wu spoke, Cheng Si angrily stared at her father. She was probably thinking that going back home and then returning soon was a twisted prank on her. Martial artists move fast. In less than 3 hours, they had placed everything that needed to be moved in the van. Wei Xiaobei and Zhang Zhilong said their goodbyes to everyone. When it came to saying goodbye to Yao Wu took out his car keys and gave them to Wei Xiaobei. He patted his shoulder. "Junior apprentice brother, I will entrust you with the car. You must treat it well." Wei Xiaobei was dazed for a moment and quickly responded. What his third senior apprentice brother was talking about was the old van. That said, his third senior apprentice brother treated it very preciously. His big senior apprentice brother also walked up to him and placed an ATM card in his hands. "Junior apprentice brother, this card's password is 666,666. Take it for your own use and don't go fight in the underground arena for a while. Remember to pay the utility bills of the dojo." Okay. Wei Xiaobei took the card, but he did not know how much was inside of it. However, no matter how much money was inside it, what mattered was his big senior apprentice brother's feelings for him. Finally, his master walked over with Cheng Si. "You must be careful. Don't be too rash. Hope only exists when you are alive." Wei Xiaobei nodded. "Junior apprentice brother, remember to call." Cheng Si made a calling gesture with a bit of anxiety on her face. Although Cheng Si did not ask what the matter was, she was smart enough to understand a few things, that something big would happen. Otherwise, Cheng Si would never obediently return. She knew that everyone not telling her anything was for her sake. Some things were better left unknown. Although her curiosity was strong, she pushed it down from the surface of her mind. Wei Xiaobei waved his hands at the departing truck. He became silent as he was not used to the fact that there were now only 2 people in the dojo. Zhang Zhilong only moved his gaze when the truck vanished from his sight. He looked at Wei Xiaobei and smiled. "I will go out first and check the situation." After saying this, Zhang Zhilong left after hailing a cab. Wei Xiaobei was stunned. He originally thought that his second senior apprentice brother would bother him with finding a way into the dust world. However, he never imagined that he would leave just like that as if he did not feel anything at all. Wei Xiaobei knew that his second senior apprentice brother was born from an influential family. His position in the family was not low, and he might have thought highly of himself that he did not want to lose face by bothering Wei Xiaobei. It might even seem that he was going to find a way in himself. Wei Xiaobei shook his head. In truth, he was also puzzled about the method of entering the dust world. From his understanding, there were people who entered by being drunk. Zhu Xine entered while she was reading, Huang Kuan entered while he was gaming, and some even entered by sleeping in a hotel. There were many ways in, and there was nothing common between them. From Wei Xiaobei's point of view, anyone could enter the dust world, but the method of entering was different for everyone. Finding a way in would be a difficult task. He hoped that his second senior apprentice brother would succeed. After going back in the dojo, Wei Xiaobei cleaned up the messy facility. After sitting down on a stool at the edge of the outdoor practice grounds, he stayed there for a long time, idling his time away. He did not even have any thoughts of training his chi. As he sat there, his phone suddenly rang. It was Huang Kuan. "Is something the matter?" Wei Xiaobei answered the call and asked. "Big brother Wei, when are you going to bring me into the dust world? I can't wait any longer." Hearing Huang Kuan's loud voice made Wei Xiaobei frown. This brat needs more discipline. He is too careless. Then come to the dojo. I will wait for you. After saying this, Wei Xiaobei hung up. Perhaps because he took the taxi, Huang Kuan arrived sneakily at the dojo doors in just a few minutes. When he saw Wei Xiaobei as he stretched his head inside, he happily ran over. Wei Xiaobei raised his head and saw that Huang Kuan was carrying a laptop. It seemed that he was in a rush as he even brought the laptop needed to enter the dust world with him. Big brother Wei. Huang Kuan immediately stood still when he came in front of Wei Xiaobei. The reason for this was because Wei Xiaobei's eyes were slightly cold. Remember. If you are talking with others or using a phone, never mention these things. Even if you wanted to say it, you must obscure it. Wei Xiaobei felt resentful of Huang Kuan for not meeting his expectation as he scolded. Oh. I understand. Huang Kuan was not an idiot. He understood where he was wrong when Wei Xiaobei scolded him. Chuihu City just had the zombie incident. The Chuihu City's organizations were probably trying to find any clues to this occurrence. Saying things like this on the phone would easily cause problems. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei did not go overboard. After all, even if these matters were spoken, the monitoring personnel might think that it was just a game. However, if the word zombie was spoken, it might cause problems. Wei Xiaobei even understood that the upper echelons of Chuihu City must have a rough understanding of the zombies by now. After all, anyone would mentally associate zombies with the case. If it was like that, then the next thing that they would do was to put all their efforts into finding Wei Xiaobei, who showed off too much on the scene. It was easy to imagine what kind of situation he would be in once he was caught. Saying that he would become a lab rat would be too exaggerated. However, he would probably be placed under tight surveillance, or he might be placed under house arrest to interrogate and experiment on him. Wei Xiaobei did not want that kind of life. In short, he could not stay too long in the dojo. Thinking about these points, Wei Xiaobei was slightly hesitant. Ring, ring, ring. At this time, his phone rang. Why did mother call? Wei Xiaobei was slightly puzzled as he did not know what his mother was calling for. When he answered the phone, the first thing he heard was his mother's familiar angry shout, Wei Xiaobei. If you still want to call me you mother, this is the case. Immediately. Immediately. Return. Do you understand? Return. Is this for the marriage interview? Wei Xiaobei frowned. This topic had been discussed by them previously. Wei Xiaobei was almost 22 years old, so he was urged by his mother to either find a girlfriend in Chuihu City or return and have a marriage interview. In short, his parents were envious of other people's children. It was especially so for his mother. She even wanted to lock Wei Xiaobei and a random girl up in a room to do the deed and wait for her future grandchild. Luckily, Wei Xiaobei had not returned even once when he arrived in Chuihu City, preventing his mother from carrying out her plans. It seemed that his mother had now steeled her heart to find Wei Xiaobei a wife. Wei Xiaobei did not know the reason for this, but he could only blame himself. The Wei family's financial situation was originally not that good, and two members of the family were still students. Although his mother had previously talked about a marriage interview, she did not intend for Wei Xiaobei to marry immediately. She prepared to wait for Wei Xiaopeng to graduate college before holding a wedding ceremony. But now, when Wei Xiaobei had sent back 50,000 yuan, the Wei family's financial situation had been dealt with. At the very least, they did not lack money for the short term. Because of that, Wei Xiaobei's mother's desires of having a grandchild must have reached its peak, resulting in her calling Wei Xiaobei to have a marriage interview. Thus, this was a result of Wei Xiaobei causing his own bad luck. I know, but master returned back to his old home and there is no one in the dojo, so I can't leave. Wei Xiaobei had a natural dislike toward marriage interviews. Although he was not a licentious prince, he had truly not thought about marriage at all. Previously, his financial condition was bad, so he did not try to seek one out. But now, all of his energy was devoted to the dust world. In short, Wei Xiaobei immediately shrunk away by conditional reflex. It was not easy to persuade his mother to stop. She immediately threatened, "Can't leave? Such a good thing like his disciple going for a marriage interview, wouldn't your master be in agreement?" Wei Xiaobei's mother did not have Cheng Baiwu's number, but asking about it was a simple matter. After all, Cheng Baiwu was not a celebrity or a politician, so his phone number was not really hidden. "Okay, okay. Let me arrange things first, please." Wei Xiaobei finally surrendered in consent. After all, compared to having his mother call Cheng Baiwu, it was better for him to concede and return to prevent his apprentice brothers from teasing him. "Then when are you coming back?" His mother truly knew Wei Xiaobei. She knew that Wei Xiaobei would drag out the time if she did not ask, so she specially asked for the date. Wei Xiaobei frowned, "After 3 days." After hanging up with great difficulty, Wei Xiaobei sighed. In truth, he knew that his mother was doing this for his own good, but he did not like it when people interfered with his business. At this time, Wei Xiaobei was considering using money to rent a girlfriend to bring back. In summer breaks of universities, there should be some people who are working as rental girlfriends on the internet. These jobs were used to deal with such parents. But there sometimes might be flaws in execution. Wei Xiaobei became a bit unsettled. After all, a rental girlfriend and a real girlfriend were two completely different things. Wei Xiaobei was worried that his mother's sharp eyes would be able to see through the lie, resulting in his tragedy. Ring, ring, ring. Wei Xiaobei felt that this string of phone calls had already exceeded the amount of time that he had when he worked in Chuihu City. When he just hung up, another call came. Wei Xiaobei raised his eyebrows after seeing the name. It was Zhu Xine. After answering the call, Wei Xiaobei found out that the girl had already completed all procedures for taking a leave of absence. "Aren't you too fast?" However, her next words were like a bomb, "Brother Wei, wait for me. I am now at the airport. I might be there by 8 p.m. Remember to come fetch me. You are not safe alone. You must consider things." Hello. The call had been cut. Wei Xiaobei shook his head bitterly. This girl is too daring. However, after thinking about it, Wei Xiaobei realized that Zhu Xine's courage was much more higher than his. It had reached 12.56 points, something that normal people would not be able to compare to. Airport. Wei Xiaobei suddenly thought about the fact that he had been in Chuihu City for such a long time, yet he did not know the direction of the airport. He could not help but look at Huang Kun and appraise his status. Huang Kun was currently lying down beside a wooden pillar. Who knew what he was thinking? When Wei Xiaobei used his status appraisal, he immediately shivered, withdrawing from his previous state. "Big brother Wei, are you all right? Why are you looking at me so vulgarly? I am not a homo." Wei Xiaobei felt disgust at Huang Kun's words. "What the hell are you talking about? Me perform homosexual acts with you? I simply don't have any thoughts of performing homosexual practices with anyone." Luckily, he did not say these thoughts, otherwise, Wei Xiaobei would have lost face in front of Huang Kun. Name, Huang Kun. Race, human. Gender, male. Age, 13, minor. Creature rank, 1 star. Status, the average adult male's status value is 10. Strength, 8, muscle, 9.2, sturdiness, 6.8. Agility, 6, hand-eye coordination, 6, flexibility, 6.5, reflex, 6, balance, 5.5. Vitality, 8.5, health, 9, endurance, 8. Intelligence, 4.5, learning, 4, reasoning, 5. Awareness, 6.25, willpower, 8, judgment, 5, perception, 7, intuition, 5. Charm, 7.8, courage, 9, persuasiveness, 12, character, 6, leadership, 6, appearance, 6. Special skill. Fantasy willpower, inactive. This ability activates when the host reaches 18 years old. This ability would also activate when willpower, courage, and persuasiveness reaches 20 points. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. Items on hand, reserves flash drive. This item was mutated when Huang Kun brought a flash drive into the dust world. This item compresses food and water into data and store inside the flash drive. Upgrade condition unknown. It could be said that Huang Kun had a bit of potential. Huang Kun's status had increased by killing zombies in the dust world before he had reached adulthood. When Wei Xiaobei was in the army, his muscle sub-attribute was even lower than Huang Kun's. Using this attribute to deal with 1 to 2 adults would not be a problem. However, Huang Kun's intelligence was low. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei asked a question, Huang Kun, what were your grades in the previous semester? Wei Xiaobei's question made Huang Kun's face redden. He muttered, literature 41 points, math 36 points, and English 12 points. If Wei Xiaobei's hearing ability did not exceed a normal person, he would probably not have heard him. Wei Xiaobei decided not to pursue the question anymore as Huang Kun seemed to have failed all of his subjects. It was no wonder that his learning skill was so bad. On the other hand, Huang Kun's willpower and courage were not bad. Naturally, what was terrifying was Huang Kun's persuasiveness. Persuasiveness was an ability that would allow others to be swayed by your opinions. Wei Xiaobei hesitated. It was no wonder that he had been easily influenced by this child. In short, Huang Kun's persuasiveness could even surpass most adult males. As for the fantasy willpower, Wei Xiaobei did not know what it was. The only piece of information written about it was inactive, so he was not able to gain any information about it. Enough. Why did you come here? Wei Xiaobei returned back to the main topic. Big brother Wei, I want to go to the dust world. Seeing that Wei Xiaobei did not continue asking about his grades, Huang Kun's mood immediately lightened up, and he became happy. Go to the dust world? Wei Xiaobei looked at Huang Kun and hesitated. This brat was only 13 years old. The dust world was not a playground. Big brother Wei. Let's go, let's go. Seeing Wei Xiaobei's expression, Huang Kun was afraid that he would disagree. He went in front of Wei Xiaobei, grabbed his hand, and swayed like an adorable girl. Wei Xiaobei could not help but tremble as he flung Huang Kun away and looked at him with a disgusted gaze. Big brother Wei. Huang Kun had been flung away. He felt wronged and was about to jump out again, but he was immediately stopped by Wei Xiaobei. Stand still. If you have something to say it properly. Huang Kun's eyes reddened as if he was about to cry. This made Wei Xiaobei slightly unable to resist this pitiful scene. I said, if you have anything to say, then say it. Don't be so immature, okay? Wei Xiaobei did not care anymore and clarified his words. This was all for his sake. A child at that age had not yet determined their nature. Outside influences had a large effect. A single mistake could change their lives forever. This did not mean that he was discriminating against the other side, but he could not accept Huang Kun like that. Okay, I'll agree to you, but stop acting like that. Wei Xiaobei truly could not deal with the brat and in the end consented. However, Wei Xiaobei never imagined that once he agreed, Huang Kun would immediately return back to normal and become in high spirits, as if his previous self was a facade. At this time, Wei Xiaobei understood that the brat deliberately did this because Wei Xiaobei appeared like he could not bear it. Children nowadays are simply overbearing. Could not be helped. It was impossible for Wei Xiaobei to continue bickering. However, we cannot enter right now. I have to fetch someone at the airport tonight. We can only go afterwards. Since he had already agreed, Wei Xiaobei did not hide anything. Then I will wait here. I have a computer, and I'm not tired anyways. Huang Kun was hell-bent on waiting here and was insistent on not leaving. You're not going to school. What about your parents? Wei Xiaobei could not help asking. Wei Xiaobei had stepped on a landmine. Huang Kun's appearance immediately broke down into depression. My parents are divorced. I'm living with my mother, so no one is taking care of me. What Huang Kun did not mention clearly was that his mother had occasionally taken care of him, but recently she had found a boyfriend. They were currently rather passionate and stuck together as if they were glued to each other. Her mother had less time to care about him. Wei Xiaobei nodded and understood why his education was bad. The majority of children with divorced parents would enter two extremes. On one hand, some of them would be focused on attaining good grades, being focused in their studies, and entering good universities, while on the other hand, the other half would abandon their studies having bad grades, messing around in school, and being close to being locked up in prison. Okay, if your mother does not have time to care about you, then you can live here. However, you must agree to study diligently. Wei Xiaobei was sloppy in handling work. He let Huang Kun live there without even making a call to his mother. After eating dinner at a noodle stall, the two of them took a taxi to the airport. Huang Kun following him was an inevitable happening. With the brat's character, he might just turn the entire dojo upside down. Who knew if it was Wei Xiaobei's luck that was good or Zhu Xianyi's luck that was good for the plane to not be delayed. They waited for Zhu Xianye to process her papers and then returned to the dojo. By the time they returned, it was already 10 o'clock. Zhu Xianye displayed curiosity at everything in the dojo. Wei Xiaobei felt a bit awkward as this was the first time he was meeting her in reality. This was roughly due to the few words they had spoken before as they returned to the dojo. At that time, Wei Xiaobei had said that he would go back to his old home to have a marriage interview. Then he asked Zhu Xianye and Huang Kun if they would stay at the dojo and wait for his return or go with him. Before Zhu Xianye could respond, Huang Kun spoke first. Master, why do you have to go to an interview? If you just bring Sister Xianye back, Master's mother will not say anything else. In front of other people, Huang Kun would call him Master, but when they were alone together, Huang Kun would address him as Big Brother Wei. Huang Kun's words made Wei Xiaobei feel that it was a good idea, but Zhu Xianye's face reddened. Knowing that she became embarrassed, Wei Xiaobei berated Huang Kun as a show. When they returned to the dojo, Wei Xiaobei felt a bit awkward. He wanted to ask Zhu Xianye to pretend to be his girlfriend in order to stop his mother's plans for a marriage interview, but he was a bit embarrassed to have Zhu Xianye misunderstand him. However, Zhu Xianye took the initiative to look for Wei Xiaobei to help him in this matter with his mother. However, Wei Xiaobei would not misunderstand this, as this was only because they were now in the same line of work. After all, the reason Zhu Xianye asked for a leave of absence was because she did not have any plans to return back to her normal life. Zhu Xianye even told Wei Xiaobei that if he fancied the opposite party in the marriage interview, he should not be modest and grasp at his own happiness. Wei Xiaobei bitterly smiled. If Zhu Xianye was going back with him, he did not even have to go to a marriage interview. His mother would probably forget about the matter of the marriage interview and begin asking when they would marry. No matter what was said, Wei Xiaobei called the two people up to his room at 11 o'clock. He had previously confirmed that his second senior apprentice brother would not return to the dojo. Xianye, read your book. Huang Kun, begin playing games. If you enter the dust world and I'm not there, do not panic. I will wait for you for 2 hours. Wei Xiaobei's words appeared lax, but in reality, Zhu Xianye and Huang Kun understood his words. Once they enter the dust world, there were no means of communicating with reality. In other words, if something unexpected happened, the three of them might be scattered in different places. If one of them encountered danger, it was impossible for the other two to help. However, even if it was like this, Zhu Xine and Huang Kun did not show bitter expressions, on the contrary they were serene. Seeing the two's appearance, Wei Xiaobei nodded his head. The two of them were different from other people. Just their firm convictions alone exceeded many strong men. This was the first time they were entering the dust world together. The only thing that they could rely on was Wei Xiaobei's strength. Wei Xiaobei raised a bottle of wine and poured it down his throat. After 3 bottles, Wei Xiaobei fell on his bed and gradually fell asleep, while he gazed at Huang Kuan's and Zhu Xianyi's concerned expressions. The best place for the 3 of them to enter the dust world was Wei Xiaobei's new room, but Wei Xiaobei wanted to avoid the strange footsteps as well as encountering the 2 women. Wei Xiaobei was not willing to confront trouble, so he chose the dojo. The problem was that Wei Xiaobei had never entered the dust world from that place, so he did not know the danger surrounding it. This was also the first time that Zhu Xine and Huang Kuan saw how Wei Xiaobei entered the dust world. Seeing Wei Xiaobei's disappearing figure, they held their breaths. When Wei Xiaobei completely disappeared, they immediately relaxed. They looked at each other and did their own business. A speck of dust landed on Wei Xiaobei's nose. The unbearable itch immediately made Wei Xiaobei sneeze. After sneezing, Wei Xiaobei immediately woke up. He immediately got down from the bed and held his machete. The room was tattered, but Wei Xiaobei could tell that he was in his room. He carried the backpack and honed his ears to listen to his surroundings. Discerning that there was no movement, he immediately, quietly opened the door, leaving behind footprints on the dust-covered floor. That place was the Chen clan dojo. Wei Xiaobei had confirmed this. However, when Wei Xiaobei approached the inner practice field, he heard a sharp rubbing sound. This sound comes from within the inner practice ground. Response search. If it was not necessary, Wei Xiaobei was not willing to use this skill. Active abilities like this would have side effects when used. For example, elementary power burst would easily strain his muscles. Response search, on the other hand, would drain his mental strength, reducing the amount of time he could stay in the dust world. When a person's mental strength decreased, the shorter the amount of time they could stay in the dust world. When response search was used, everything within a 200-meter radius entered Wei Xiaobei's brain, becoming a 3-dimensional image in his mind. Wei Xiaobei immediately focused on the inner practice field. The inner practice field that was painted like chinawares had yellowed and darkened. This did not matter much since everything in the dust world was like that. What surprised Wei Xiaobei was that the inner practice field had been expanded. Its width had increased by 5 to 6 times, and its length had exceeded 70 meters, as if it had become an indoor soccer field. This was not that impressive. After all, Wei Xiaobei had seen changes like this from the grass field left behind by the tree spirits. The problem was that there were creatures moving inside the place. These things could be called creatures, but calling them monsters would be more appropriate. Even Wei Xiaobei had a hard time discerning the monsters' appearances. In simpler terms, the monsters inside appeared to be something like weapons that had grown hands and legs, and even mouths. For example, a red tassel great spear that was 3.3 meters long was lying on the rug. From the handle of the spear to the red tassel were 3 rows of hands and legs. Further down were 2 rows of hands and legs that were less than an inch long. And closer to the top was a row of inch-long hands. From start to end, there were 30 hands and feet in total. It was like a shape-shifting circus clown. Behind the great spear was a 3-meter-long triple-ring saber. The saber had grown 2 arms and 2 legs. The blade was pointed downwards and dragged on the floor. The 3 rings of the blade consisted of eyes that blinked from time to time. In addition, there was the chime stick. It was stuck on the floor and only had 2 long legs. It would fall down every step it took. When Wei Xiaobei looked at it, he pitied it. In short, most of the weapons inside had legs, and a small portion of them had eyes. Some even had ears and mouths. A gilded sledgehammer had not only grown a pair of legs and eyes, but it also had even grown hair. Their appearance made it feel like a person had entered a comical world of toys. However, Wei Xiaobei felt that these weapons were rather powerful. Especially the winged double-edged sword at the center of the inner practice ground. It was floating 3 meters from the ground without moving as it was dead. However, the other weapons did not even dare to approach 5 meters near it. This was enough to indicate how strong it was. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei was able to feel a powerful aura emanating from it. After peering inside with response search, Wei Xiaobei suppressed any thoughts of using status appraisal on them. He stopped his response search skill and retreated a few steps. When he was preparing to take a detour to look outside, he heard Huang Kuan's voice, "Master. Big Brother Wei." Although the voice was low, it was not that faint in the silence. Wei Xiaobei did not dare to stay there and went back into his room. That brat Huang Kuan is truly bringing me troubles. Luckily, when Wei Xiaobei reached the door, he had Zhu Xinyi's voice, "Huang Kuan, stop shouting. You will attract monsters." Ah! So many monsters. Huang Kuan's shriek once again resounded. Wei Xiaobei charged into the room. He did not know whether to laugh or cry when he saw the room stuffed full of green dwarfs that were becoming more solid in number. It was Zhu Xinyi's green dwarf troops. Wei Xiaobei had forgotten about them. This had terribly frightened Huang Kuan. Wei Xiaobei immediately pulled Zhu Xinyi and Huang Kuan out of the room and covered Huang Kuan's mouth. Wei Xiaobei's room could not become bigger. If 24 green dwarfs were to appear inside, he did not know if anything would happen if the two of them were wedged among the green dwarfs, but at the very least, they would be pressed down onto the ground into meat patty. These are the monsters that Xine tamed. They won't eat you. Wei Xiaobei fiercely glared at Huang Kuan before slowly uncovering his mouth. He felt disgusted at having Huang Kuan's saliva on his own hands. Wei Xiaobei easily wiped his hand on Huang Kuan's back. "Wow! Big sister Xine, you are too amazing. You actually made monsters into your subordinates. Amazing. Truly amazing." Huang Kuan was good with his tongue. He immediately curried favor with Zhu Xine, while she just became embarrassed and lost her steam. "Enough. Now that you know about it, don't scream out next time." Wei Xiaobei slapped the back of Huang Kuan's head, making him mumble, "What will you do if you slap me, stupid?" Wei Xiaobei ignored Huang Kuan's complaints. He immediately told them what he found outside the room. Moreover, he told them that the monsters inside the inner practice grounds were monsters that they could not face against. Wei Xiaobei worried that if he did not clarify this, Huang Kuan might cause an incident. After saying it one more time, Zhu Xinyi's green dwarfs had become completely solid. Every one of them leaned unsteadily, side to side and crawled out. This could not be helped since Wei Xiaobei's room was indeed small. 24 green dwarfs were stuffed inside and appeared one after the other. It was a scene of green dwarf above green dwarfs. Luckily, no infighting happened because of this. Next, Wei Xiaobei took the lead and walked in front. Passing through the inner practice ground was not the only method of leaving the place. The other way was through the kitchen and then through the outer practice ground. Because Huang Kuan was already holding onto a fire axe, Wei Xiaobei lent Zhu Xine the machete. As for himself, his great spear was enough. Also, the inner practice ground had expanded, meaning that the route going through the kitchen had also lengthened. However, when he reached the outer practice ground, he found that the place had also become bigger. Moreover, there was not a single soul in sight. There were only wooden training dummies that all exceeded 5 meters in height. There were roughly 30 of them in sight. Their bodies consisted of wooden cylinders with slash marks, with 2 thick legs below, and arms with wooden fists. It appeared almost cartoonish. On the tall walls surrounding them, there were tiny saplings growing towards the sky. In short, there were many changes that had appeared in the place. Wei Xiaobei hesitated before using his status appraisal on one of the wooden training dummies. The wooden training dummy immediately stood up from the ground like a giant and moved toward Wei Xiaobei, startling him into preparing to attack. However, when the wooden training dummy walked on the limestone line, it stopped moving. Although it did not have eyes, Wei Xiaobei could feel that it was looking at him. The human-shaped wooden training dummy actually could not cross the limestone line. The limestone line was positioned 20 meters away from Wei Xiaobei, giving him time to decide what to do. He immediately checked the status that appeared in his mind. Name, Wooden Training Dummy Number 3. Race, Wooden Training Dummy. Gender, None. Age, 103. Creature rank, 2-star elite. Status. Strength, 17.5, Muscle, 15, Sturdiness, 20. Agility, 5, Hand-eye coordination, 5, Flexibility, 5, Reflex, 5, Balance, 5. Vitality, 13, Health, 6, Endurance, 20. Intelligence, 1, Learning, 1, Reasoning, 1. Awareness, 4, Willpower, 6, Judgment, 2, Perception, 5, Intuition, 3. Charm, 3, Courage, 3, Persuasiveness, 3, Character, 3, Leadership, 3, Appearance, 3. Skills, Spring comes upon a withered tree, when seriously injured, recovery speed increases by 50%. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. Items on hand, none. Seeing the human-shaped wooden training dummy number 3 status, Wei Xiaobei understood that the wooden training dummy was similar to a hothead. It had high strength, low agility, high endurance, while all their other attributes were negligible. Its skill was strong, but its health was low. If its health was high as well, coupled with his skill, it would probably be equal to a 2-star elite creature. No matter what was said, Wei Xiaobei noticed that its status was different from him. It only needed a few points to be a 2-star elite creature. Naturally, as a monster of the dust world, it was different from him. The real question was, how could a wooden training dummy have muscles? Hee. Brother Wei, what kind of monsters are those? Just when Wei Xiaobei was thinking about how to deal with the monsters, Zhu Xinyi's voice came from beside him. When he raised his head, he saw that everyone had came over. Wait here first, I will go take a look. Wei Xiaobei looked at the outer practice ground with unease, but he still could not tell where it was coming from. Even his intuition that often warned him of danger seemed to lose its effect. After telling the two of them to stay there, he made a decision and walked to the outer practice ground. However, the next thing that happened was out of his expectations. As he stepped onto the outer practice ground, a circle of red light wrapped him up. The next moment, Wei Xiaobei was startled as he suddenly appeared within the limestone line. At this time, 2 cries of alarm sounded. Wei Xiaobei turned his head and saw that Huang Kuan, Zhu Xine, and even the green dwarfs were all wrapped in the red light. The next moment, the red light had moved Huang Kuan to the left wall, while Zhu Xine was moved to the right wall. The two of them looked at each other. This was not the main problem. The problem was that when they had also entered the practice grounds, and the saplings close to the both of them began to move. The saplings were also monsters. Wei Xiaobei knew that there was no way there could be normal plants in the dust world. Whoosh! Wei Xiaobei subconsciously stepped back as he heard the sound of wind breaking. I can't move back. I can't go past the limestone line. The three of them had been separated by the strange changes happening on the practice ground. A big wooden training dummy had approached Wei Xiaobei, and with its 2 wooden fists, smashed downwards. Luckily, the wooden training dummies were very slow. Wei Xiaobei had enough time to dodge. With a large stride, he dodged the attack. At the same time he used the status appraisal on the saplings by Zhu Xinyi's side. Name, Treeman sapling. Race, Treeman. Gender, none. Age, 1. Creature rank, 1 star. Status. Strength, 5, Muscle, 5, Sturdiness, 5. Agility, 4, Hand-eye coordination, 7, Flexibility, 3, Reflex, 3, Balance, 3. Vitality, 9, Health, 8, Endurance, 10. Intelligence, 2, Learning, 2, Reasoning, 2. Awareness, 5.5, Willpower, 3, Judgment, 3, Perception, 8, Intuition, 8. Charm, 3, Courage, 3, Persuasiveness, 3, Character, 3, Leadership, 3, Appearance, 3. Skill, new sprout, grows branches at a fixed interval, increase in power. Evolution points, X, unable to accumulate evolution points. Items on hand, none. When Wei Xiaobei saw the Treeman sapling status, he relaxed. It was not strong, so Zhu Xine and Huang Kuan should be able to deal with them easily. As long as they did not court disaster, nothing bad should happen. Take care of yourself. Wei Xiaobei was only able to say this because another wooden training dummy was running over to join the fight. At this point, even Wei Xiaobei needed to focus his attention on the two enemies in front of him. Because the wooden training dummies have limits in their strength, Wei Xiaobei was able to respond easily, but he still did not dare become careless. Should I try punching them? Wei Xiaobei lightly stamped his feet on the ground and dodged to the left, avoiding the attack coming from the wooden training dummy on the right. At the same time, he condensed the strength from his leg and waist into his arm, striking the wooden training dummy's thick leg. Bang! A heavy sound echoed. Wei Xiaobei had shaved off a tiny bit of the wooden training dummy's leg. Wei Xiaobei took the chance to retreat and dodged the wooden training dummy's counterattack. This wooden training dummy is simply too hard. Wei Xiaobei was able to confirm this in just that short exchange. It was worthy to be called a 2-star elite creature. Although it was slow, it was too sturdy. Wei Xiaobei's strength and his inner qi combined carried the strength of a more than 500 kilograms. Even a wooden table would be shattered to bits from this strike. If he struck a human body, this strike could kill anyone in an instant. Whoosh! Another wooden training dummy came over and struck with its wooden fist. Wei Xiaobei was able to dodge it, but the wooden fist had left a human-sized hole on the ground. At this time, Wei Xiaobei did not use his great spear. In truth, using a great spear against these wooden training dummies was a bad idea. Wei Xiaobei did not know the weakness of these wooden training dummies, so he could only try things out. Bang! Wei Xiaobei moved behind a wooden training dummy and jumped up. He then struck at the place that would have been the wooden training dummy's neck, filling the air with wood shavings. The wooden training dummy turned around and smashed down its fist. Wei Xiaobei understood that his attack did not affect it at all. Thump, thump, thump. The wooden training dummy raised its fist as it advanced 3 steps forward. Wei Xiaobei moved like a flying goose as he jumped over its head. He turned around and struck at its head with his palm. Bang! A dent appeared on the round wooden head of the enemy. However, it was still not effective. Chest. Abdomen. Crotch. Wei Xiaobei tried countless vital areas that would have already incapacitated a human being. However, the wooden training dummy still moved and danced with its fists. Its fists even hit its comrade and sent it staggering. Wei Xiaobei frowned. He felt his head ache as he thought of how to deal with the wooden training dummy. Striking at conventional human vital parts didn't work against it, so the only choice might be to chop it into pieces. If it was truly like that, the amount of effort he needed to exert would be huge. Wei Xiaobei dodged the incoming fist and gazed at Huang Kuan and Zhu Xine. At this time, Huang Kun was tangling against one sapling. It was a real fight. The sapling had pulled out its roots and wrapped most of its roots around Huang Kun's legs, pulling him into the ground. The rest of its roots were trying to wrap around Huang Kun's arms. In contrast, Huang Kun was chopping at it with the fire axe for his life. He chopped the roots, but the growth rate of the roots was faster. It was unknown when this fight would end. Furthermore, it was unknown if Huang Kun would turn the sapling into firewood or if the sapling would turn Huang Kun into fertilizer. On the other side, Zhu Xine was in a better position than Huang Kun. 24 green dwarfs were tangling with 5 saplings. Various worn-out weapons were striking against the tree roots, cutting them down. The green dwarfs were also doing this with their lives on the line, while Zhu Xine was hiding behind them. When she saw that the battle was getting a bit more intense, she would move forward and chop the roots with the machete. In terms of success, Zhu Xine's side was much more efficient. At the very least, one of the saplings had already been chopped to pieces, landed on the ground, and stopped moving. Wei Xiaobei was currently fighting against 3 wooden training dummies. He did not dare move his attention away for too long, so he quickly pulled back his gaze. At this moment, Wei Xiaobei had given up on using dirty tactics to kill the wooden training dummies in one move. In short, the wooden training dummies were targets. Eliminating them could only be done head-on. In the next moment, Wei Xiaobei had marked out one of the wooden training dummies. Its height was around 5 meters. Its joints were in a position that would be easy for Wei Xiaobei to attack it. As a result, Wei Xiaobei occasionally striked it and kicked it. Its large joints were being shaved off by Wei Xiaobei bit by bit. Perhaps because the wooden training dummy could not feel pain, it did not have any large reactions even if Wei Xiaobei had created many dents on it. It was like a robot that only knew how to chase and kill Wei Xiaobei. It would even strike its comrades from time to time, giving Wei Xiaobei a copious number of chances. 3 Emperor Cannon Fist. Wei Xiaobei grasped a good chance. He forcibly stamped the ground, causing it to shake. Wei Xiaobei's fist was like a fierce tiger as he concentrated his energy on it, creating a spiral force. He immediately closed the distance and punched out, creating a tornado-like effect. Boom! The fist was like a siege cannon. As it increased in speed, it increased in vigor. Wei Xiaobei aimed at the worn-out leg joint of the wooden training dummy. Creak! The thick, smooth leg joint had let out a creaking sound as cracks appeared. Since Wei Xiaobei had succeeded, he did not stop. He immediately moved his legs and fiercely kicked the joint. Crack! More cracks appeared on the leg joint. The cracks that appeared were as if the wood had been withered due to water deprivation. Bang! 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 Dodging the attack of the wooden training dummy, Wei Xiaobei positioned himself behind its back. With a short burst of strength, he used Iron Mountain Lean. His left shoulder struck against the joint of the monster. After that, he struck the joint 2 more times. Under Wei Xiaobei's continuous barrage of attacks, the cracks on the wooden training dummy's joints increased. In the end, more than 10 cracks had appeared. When the wooden training dummy tried to turn around, who knew that it would twist its joints, breaking them into pieces. Its body leaned on one side as the legs of the monster could not support the body anymore. In an instant, it fell on the ground. Even if the wooden training dummy had fallen down, it still tried to attack Wei Xiaobei, but doing so with its injuries would be difficult. If it was a zombie, they could still crawl on the ground and attack. However, with a round fist, the wooden training dummy would not even able to crawl, much less move forward. If Wei Xiaobei did not enter its attack range, the wooden training dummy would not be able to deal with him even if it had the ability to do so. At this moment, Huang Kun on the left side finally succeeded in chopping the sapling to pieces. He laid on the ground panting without being able to move. The sapling was truly difficult to deal with. Luckily, Huang Kuan had a bit of battle experience and did not panic in the fight. If it was a normal person, they would have panicked after being tangled by the sapling. They would only attempt to run for their lives and die in the end. On Zhu Xinyi's side, 3 saplings had been eliminated, but the green dwarfs were too scatterbrained and carelessly attracted more saplings. This had caused 5 green dwarfs to die from entanglement. If Zhu Xine did not borrow the power of the Mirror of Confusion and charmed 2 of the saplings to block the 5 other saplings after more than 10 tries, her entire troop might have been eliminated. Even if that was so, Zhu Xine was also very tired. She held the machete in her right hand and stuffed a jerky in her mouth with her left hand. After all, charming monsters also consumed a certain level of mental power. Failing to charm would have wasted that mental power. It was easy to imagine Zhu Xinyi's current condition. If she did not eat the Shangfu jerky, the amount of time she could stay in the dust world would probably have decreased. From this, it could be seen that the charm control ability was a good ability, but its energy efficiency was bad. Wei Xiaobei pulled away his gaze and retreated 2 steps to dodge an incoming fist. With a loud boom, the fist hit the ground. With Wei Xiaobei's current power, he could control his strength flexibly. At the very least, he felt that dealing with 2 clumsy wooden training dummies was a rather simple feat. 3 Emperor Cannon Fist. Stamp, concentrate, and press forward. Boom. Boom. Bang. Wei Xiaobei launched a chain of attacks, making another wooden training dummy fall down. Although he had not yet killed them and earned the evolution points, he could feel the pleasure of improving his own skills, even if he was in pain. He felt that fighting the wooden training dummies in the dust world felt a lot better than fighting the ones in reality. It was very difficult for the wooden training dummies to endure against Wei Xiaobei's full power strike. Continuous strikes had destroyed the wood to pieces, revealing a metallic pillar within. It had been a long time since Wei Xiaobei had trained with the wooden training dummies in the dojo. After all, wooden training dummies were not easy to replace. Destroying a wooden training dummy every 2 days would cause huge losses to the dojo. The last remaining wooden training dummy was unable to stop Wei Xiaobei anymore. Wei Xiaobei struck the wooden training dummy's joints more than 30 times, destroying them completely. Other than training his skills, Wei Xiaobei was able to sense a few of his weaknesses. After opening his meridians, Wei Xiaobei only opened his channels, but his inner force was not abundant. Qi was something that could not simply be described as inner force. The 8 meridians were different from the 12 blood channels. The 12 blood channels were utilized to move blood, connect the inner and outer organs, and connect the body from top to bottom. The 8 meridians on the other hand were connected to the blood channels and were used to accumulate and irrigate the blood flowing through the 12 blood channels. It was easy to imagine the benefits of the meridians on the blood channels from this. I must fully open the meridians and the connections. In short, these things were the type of strength that was not shown in the status panel. It had the ability to amplify his entire body's power. 3 wooden training dummies were currently lying on the ground or attempting to crawl toward Wei Xiaobei. At this time, Wei Xiaobei relaxed his breath. The wooden training dummies that had lost their threat were nothing in front of him. He then carefully looked at the position of the other wooden training dummies. Luckily, their perception was quite low. As long as Wei Xiaobei was not an idiot and ran to attract their attention, he would be safe for the time being. Wei Xiaobei loved beating up an enemy when they were down. Although he greeted the difficulty head-on, he would still prefer to fight against a powerless enemy if it was possible. This was not related to his moral character. Humans were existences that sought luck and avoided calamity. Any living creature would not seek their own death and fight against enemies that were stronger than themselves. Wei Xiaobei directly sat down on one of the wooden training dummies' backs. He concentrated his qi and slapped wooden training dummy. The wooden training dummy's natural backlash made Wei Xiaobei's palm numb. This was the rebound from hitting wood. It would be hard to eliminate this sensation with Wei Xiao Bei's current strength.